One more victory for the Cleveland Indians or the Chicago Cubs. This is the Bennington Show on, I'm going to guess now Wednesday. I'm not sure. Wednesday. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I'm Ron Bennington. So this World Series has brought everything that everybody wanted. 7 games, just momentum, switching sides. It all comes down to this last game.
Do you have a prediction? Is there one team that you feel has played better?
Well, obviously it's 3 games to 3 games. You know what I mean? Pitching still leans towards the Indians. Home field advantages towards the Indians. You expect the Indians to lose 3 games in a row. All those things in terms of odds go on the Indian side. And yet, guys are jacking home runs last night, and that's tough to predict.
Yeah.
So, predicting is like, whatever, people like to do it, but it doesn't mean shit,
You don't like to assume.
Well, the thing is, these guys deserve the respect to go out and play the game. They're both fucking champions on each side. They got the heart of a champion. Heart of a champion.
The heart of a champion. Little Buado.
Little Buado is going to be out there tonight, one way or the other. Somebody is going to be the person who's remembered forever. Could be anybody. Could be a pitcher. Could be a fucking guy who just hits a clutch home run. This is why sports are fun. I get the biggest kick out of this. If LeBron didn't win last year, Cleveland would be convinced that they were going to lose tonight. You know what I mean? They would be like, this is our jinx. It still seems like the country goes to Chicago because Chicago is a more lovable city than Cleveland. And the people of Cleveland get it. They're like, no one wants us. It's us against everybody. But both these teams, it's going to be fun. What the fuck more do you want out of a sporting event? It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a good one.
Yeah. No matter what happens, it's already been great. It's really been great.
I'm going to be missing the end of the game because I'm going to be doing the My Wife Hates Me, Would You Bang Him show. Yeah. So I'll probably miss the last bit of the game.
I wanted to miss that game, but you say you don't want me there deciding who bangs who?
Yeah, thought maybe you would not want to hear about my basket of bangables.
Here's the thing. You're going to say no to everyone. By the way, when we did that on stage last night, Bonnie was just like, ugh, that's disgusting.
Don't judge me, Bonnie.
Don't ever sit and think that you're in charge of what your daughter does. China. But that's going to be a really fun show. And those guys were out last night at Comedy 101, and they were on point, man.
They were so funny, and it was a really fantastic night.
Voss and Bonnie are rock stars.
They really are.
And, we were just talking about this with Tom Segura because he's with Christine, and they're, they're a comedy couple. This used to be a rare thing. Ben Stiller's parents or something.
Right.
But the fact that most of these couples, they don't even work as teams. They do podcasts as teams.
Yeah.
And then they go out and work separately. But there's a lot of comedy couples now.
Well, it does make sense. You're going to be able to talk about the same kind of stuff. You'll have the same references because it's such a crazy business to be in. And then you have the same type schedule.
Let me tell you something. There's a guy who's been married for 1,006 years. It's nice to have things not in common. It's nice to go, wait, who is she again? Who's Anne Marie? You know what I mean? It's so much better than hearing about, who's an asshole, Chris, and then Vito just backs him up. You know what I mean? You don't want someone to know the truth about your job.
Right.
You want them to think that you're the hero.
You're always right.
Right. There's nothing like, well, Vito did do his best, and Chris is really overworking his schedule. You don't want that. You just want somebody to cheer you on.
You want
in
the person,
lying faction.
You always want the person to say, they don't appreciate you.
Right.
They really don't. And they don't know that they have a good thing. You could walk out tomorrow. They wouldn't know what they were doing.
But do you think there's been times where Bonnie has said to Rich, well, you really, I mean, let's face it, you're a little self-indulgent during the first 15 minutes. You don't want them to know about your business.
Right.
Let me just say this. Chris Stanley, better every game as a producer. Better every game.
Thank you, Ron.
You could not be the same kid who almost passed out the first time I took you to a live event.
Aw, that's so cute.
Oh, man.
Because he couldn't run a fucking soundboard properly.
I love that story.
Fucking 360.
What was that? What was your problem with the 360?
I wasn't sure when to hit what.
What were we playing? I don't even remember.
We were playing Dirty Match Game.
Oh, yeah. And I'm like, just do it the way they do in Match Game. And as always, Chris is like, okay, fine. I got it.
You went from 3 months in.
I got it, boss. And he's standing on stage next to me, and I'm looking over at him, and like he's an intern. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, kid? Hit the fucking sounders. And he's just pouring sweat, and he's like, yeah, okay, I will. And the second time I look over, I go, hit the fucking... And I'm doing this not in front of the audience.
Right.
I'm like pulling the mic down. I go, would you fucking hit the sounders? And I look over, and his fucking knees are buckling in his head.
Very nervous.
And he's ready to faint. And I go, just forget the sounders. You just stand there. But you didn't know how Match Game you didn't know when they hit the buzzer and the bell and all that.
It was a fucking... I should have maybe watched an episode of Match Game beforehand.
Or just said, I don't know what you're asking me to do.
Yeah.
It was like literally the... where do you put the monkey? Fucking bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, all right, we need someone to hit the buzzer and the bell. I have the intern do it. You know what I mean? Like,
I faked it till I didn't make it.
you faked it till you fainted. And you still have you're still a bull in a china closet, but last night was great. First of all, the fact that the mystery last person blew up the room like never before.
Yes.
Like the way that I would have hoped BL would have blown up the room. This literally freaked people out, where from my vantage point on stage, I saw people going, no way! Fucking, it's him!
It was very exciting for me to announce that person. Because you ever notice, like, you would know better than me, but when you're announcing someone who's getting a big pop, you're like, I feel like I'm getting this pop right now.
You're
like, I'm controlling the information!
Yes.
You're gonna love this information!
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh man, I gave
But what was funny is, like, they didn't get the first reference. Yet they incredibly got the second reference.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I thought the first reference would have been bigger.
The first reference, they were like, what? That doesn't make... Oh, my God.
And
huge pop.
Yeah, it was like a really fun... Like you said, it's very fun to be on stage at that moment. Here was another really fun surprise for the crowd last night. So our buddy Nate Bargatze is doing the Tonight Show tonight, and he's doing his 8 minutes. And the Interrobang and Chris had the idea of, because we had asked Nate if he wanted to, be a judge, and he's like, I would love to, but I'm just totally focused on my Tonight Show. Now, for a comedian, when you have your Tonight Show gig, that's everything to you.
Yeah.
Because if that doesn't work the way you want, you might not be back on the Tonight Show. And very few comics get to do the Tonight Show.
Right.
And Nate, I believe it's because Jimmy went in to the stand one night, and Nate was on stage, and he's like, fuck, that's perfect.
Yeah. And also, like, the pressure of doing, like, that tight amount of time, like, you can't have excessive words or pauses where
you
it
can't
doesn't
get too many
laughs.
applause. But if you're starting to get applause breaks, you've got to, in your mind, do the math and take out a joke. And you don't want it to be your last joke.
Right.
So you're trying to take out your 7th joke. So you're not taking out your 11th joke. It's I've heard from people in that position who are like, fuck, why are these motherfuckers applauding so much?
Right.
Because studio audiences applaud more than club audiences. They laugh less and applaud more.
I wonder why that, like, what is it about that environment that they're like, I think that's funny, and I agree. I support. Like, why do you think an audience
think it's
does that?
because the audience believes that they have a television responsibility, just like the people in the panel. Like, when you're in a TV audience, you think, we need to make this go properly for America. I don't know why.
Be a shit audience.
I don't know why, but they think we represent the audience, so they applaud more. It's very weird. So what happens was, when we were doing 101, we were able to say to people, we got a very special surprise tomorrow night. He's going to be on the Tonight Show, but tonight you get to see that set. And the people were thrilled with just the thought of that. And then when I said Nate Bargatze, they went fucking crazy. Yeah. Nate is popping right now, dude.
Yeah. Really, really popping.
I'd like to invest right now in Nate Bargatze.
And the set is great.
Yeah, the set is great. What was also really funny is you saw him doing a television set. Like, you saw very, he's not, moving his hands too much. You see that, oh yeah, that's a pretty, you got to stay inside that box with it. So it was interesting to watch him do it and think it out. It was very cool.
It was, I thought it was also an added bit of sophistication to our show.
It really was.
I felt like we have a very special surprise for you, ladies and gentlemen.
You are going to be used right now as a R&D specimen for the Tonight Show. So that was really fucking fun and cool. Cool all the way around, I thought. Very, very cool all the way around. I'm watching this stupid battleground stuff on TV. No one knows what's going to happen.
Mm-mm.
If anything, it's, I consider this whole thing a loss for women. Wow, they're saying it's just about the same thing as where we looked at Romney and Obama. You always say that we tighten at the end of this.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's why. It's weird. You can follow those polls for months on end.
Years now. A year and a half, we can be getting polling information.
And then you're like, but it's going to change in a week, and then it'll change back to this, and then it'll be totally different.
Tell people that all the time, even when, they were given, the FBI came in, and you've never seen them do that before. But it's still, I'm watching this thing. Trump has got a really tough thing as far as the Electoral College. And again, this could be one of the things where he could win the popular vote and lose the Electoral College. But because of from Maine down to Maryland is so heavy Democrat, and California with its 55 fucking votes, if you see how many states it takes to make one California, where the Republicans just have Texas as far as being a big fat ass thing.
Yeah.
And then there's so many swing votes. So, but who knows? I'm up for it.
I'm ready for it to happen. It's time.
I wish it happened the same time as the World Series and the same time as Would You Bang Him? That would be my favorite thing that happened.
Just have like 2 TV screens on either end of the show.
All right, I'm just finding out I could take over as manager and agent for Nate Bargatze, and I think that's going to make me a little bit of that change that I like.
A little paper.
Shuli did a bang up job for us first time.
Shuli was great. Shuli was awesome. I was so excited that he was a part of it. He was really funny.
Shuli said that his thing was just to come in hitting singles like Rod Carew. I think he said Rod Carew. I could be wrong about that, but one of the great single hitters. And that really made me laugh because as the night progressed, Shuli was just more and more aggressive and funny. But man, the Jews get to do so many anti-Semitic jokes. It's got to feel fantastic. And then, of course, Robert Kelly is, Robert Kelly's unbelievable.
He's a killer. I
mean, right from the beginning of him begging that he doesn't have to sit next to Voss was as funny as you could get.
Please don't say his name.
It was really, really a fun night. Some people are telling me the best ever. I never know that.
I heard that from a few people, and there were a few people who came up to me afterwards and said, that they've listened to everyone, but this was their first one, and what a cool, different kind of experience to actually be in the audience.
Liz Sets Fire said, I know somebody who get a huge pop. He's not allowed into the building, but can they keep him out of the Village Underground? Well, I had him when Jimmy dropped out. He was my first choice to be a judge. And the problem that we have is this thing gets played on Sirius XM, and the VP didn't sign off on that. So, but I would have done it a million times over. And yes, the place would have went crazy. And yes, he would have been perfect for that position. I'm still sick.
I'm just realizing I'm starting
Don't even say that.
I just sneezed and I'm like kind of hearing it a little bit.
Oh, God.
You guys.
Oh, God.
What's happening? Help me.
It's fucking John Anderson. Have you been doing your Zycam and
I have been
Zinc
doing the emergency.
Oh, that shit doesn't work.
Yes, it does.
You got a Zycam.
Zycam's pure zinc. It's uncut. It's what gets it out of your system.
No, I don't like it. It feels like a knife in the gut.
Yeah.
That's what's
it
helping
cuts
you.
out the cold.
That's the help.
I hate it.
Inside of you.
Chris was asking me how I feel, and I'm like, I know that, like an AIDS victim, one of these colds is just going to kill me.
No!
The common cold, because it gets worse for me every year. And I'll go, just 1 year, I just won't come out of it.
No.
And I'll go, did he really die from a cold? And
what year is this?
It happens. You can still, people die from colds all the time. Still, one of the number one killers on the planet Earth is diarrhea.
Yeah.
Still, to this day. Because they don't, have the medication. Me and the Gates Foundation are fucking really making inroads. I'm so happy with the work that me and Bill and Melissa Gates are doing, and a couple other billionaires.
Sure.
We've decided to give our money back once we die.
I didn't realize you guys were in the same squad.
I mean, it's an Earth squad, Chris. I'm not saying I could get them on the phone, but we're in it together.
Okay.
All right?
All right. Say it's good
When
company.
I'm with Melissa Gates, I wear a shirt that said, I'm with her on it. Louis, I don't know whether his Conan is played already. Was it last night? Or did they just release the things for tonight?
I saw the clip, so I'm not sure.
He came out very strongly pro-Hillary.
Yeah, and went so far as to say, I'm not voting for Hillary because I think she is the lesser of two evils. I legitimately think she is a good candidate, and I would have voted for her over anyone else.
No, this is the second time in a little while, though. That, by the way, Louis got called cuck in all the comment sections. Because he cucks to the woman, I guess. But he did it. Just not too long ago, he explained Barry better than I can explain Barry. Barry Crimmins, by the way, who just put out a great special that's on Louis' website. But the fact that I go, a father is no big deal. I've been trying to do that. He said last night, let's get a mother in the White House. We've had enough fathers in the White House. He goes, a father can give you about 40% of what you need, where a mother gives everything. And it's that has always been my point.
And he said, best case scenario, 40%. That's the best possible father. A child will give 40%.
Of what they emotionally need.
And even if it's a shitty mother.
Yeah.
Just like a shitty mom is going to do fine.
And there's a lot of truth to that, and anyone who says, like, they're a good father, it's always a laugh to me. First of all, you don't get to make the decision. And second of all, the fucking grade is so low that even my kids thought I was a good father, and I know better. You know what I mean? Like, I know how involved I was, and I know I didn't give a shit if their noses were clean or whether they had their homework done. I mean, it's not in me. I wish it was, but I wasn't that concerned, and everything wasn't okay. I was more of a, rub some dirt on it guy. But I thought it was very funny, but I know that people get pissed when, just tell jokes, funny boy. Yeah. Don't tell us how to vote.
Come on, cucky.
Dance like a fucking monkey for our pleasure.
Did they call him Louis C. Cuck?
Yeah, that would have been good. That would have been really good.
I'm like, if I was one of them, that's what I would have wrote.
I gotta find fucking tissues. I don't have a staff.
I have some. Hold on.
I don't even have a staff that cares.
Yeah, but I have some like good tissues. Hold on. So you don't have to have a rough.
No. I'll just blow my nose into the fucking newspaper. I'm fine with that.
Don't do that.
Look at these niceties. I'll leave these right here for you.
Yesterday when I was, by the way, I was sick last night, but it's always funny when adrenaline does. But yesterday when I was like really sick, I was at the house by myself, so you're really feeling sorry for yourself. I'm like, I'm just going to rent a movie. But I was rented this really bad Papa Hemingway movie, and they shot it in Cuba. They shot it in his old house, and it should have been great, but it just wasn't. But what's funny is like that previous generation, just how much physically harder the world was. Like you could just see sleeping without air conditioning. It was a nightmare.
Oh,
a nightmare.
Yeah. It was pretty brutal to be a human being up until very recently.
20 years ago to the 80s?
I mean, it was just not good.
The 70s seems like a pain in the ass, too, sort of.
Like they had AC, but not everyone.
No, not everyone and not in every room. Like you're just like, hey, come on over. We get like the AC unit is like the man cave now. Like it's the one little room of comfort for you.
Like everyone's just in the den.
No, it would be like in your mom's bedroom, and you could go in and sleep on the fucking floor like a dog. Like, oh, this is great.
That's so cool.
But yeah, it looked like just a harsher, fucking hard world. Even if you were rich and famous, you were still just eating shitty food,
right?
Fucking having uncomfortable furniture,
right?
No TV.
Yeah, because then everyone doesn't have TV. Everyone doesn't have AC.
No.
Like, what's the point of even being rich?
You were glad just to find a fucking old thing and listen to like an old Victrola and listen to jazz or classical. Oh my God, this is so nice.
Luxury.
Like instead of silence, this. It's like kind of stimulating, right?
Yeah. Did you see all the Wong Hollywood Halloween costumes? No, I didn't. What are these supposed to be? Oh, Ali Wong?
People dressed up as Ali Wong for
That's
Halloween.
Oh my
fucking
gosh,
adorable.
that's so cute. A bunch of baby Cobra moms.
So what is this? People dressing as comedians for
Halloween.
All right, let me see the top of the thing, Chris, so I can see. Ali Wong, pack of comedian-inspired costume. Led the pack of comedians. That's fucking great. I'm very happy for Ali Wong.
I think there could be no honor greater than just being like, someone was me for Halloween.
I know, but and the thing is, like, she didn't even get that she was crazy, sexy, powerful tigress. You know what I mean? She was just like, that's what I'm doing. Look at all the Ali Wongs. This is amazing. Well, what's this one?
This is...
What aren't I getting, Chris?
Sarah Silverman.
And that's her, like, funny car?
Yeah.
Okay.
This baby's Paul Tompkins.
Oh, my God.
And first of all, Paul Tompkins is a handsome man, and that's an incredibly handsome baby.
Baby's got some good hair on its head.
Any hair on a baby's head is normally a good fucking scene.
Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
There's Don Rickles.
There's Don Rickles. They throw some fucking shit on him.
Here you go, Don.
I thought Don Rickles came as Norton of the future. That's really cute. All right, that's up in the iBang. You got to see that today. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Deplorable Rob is trying to get us to hate Hillary. He's a liar, a cheater, and a crook, according to him.
I'm turned.
That's all it took.
Case to vote for her. Ridiculous. The bosses must be very threatened by he who must not be named. A lot of times, some of the bosses are too pussy to see if the other bosses are okay.
Yeah, like that's more often than not. I think they're just like, I don't want to be the one to make waves. Like maybe something could be smaller than it really is, but they're like, I'm not going to bring that up. What if it's bad?
People are saying we need to go home because we both sound sick. And Chris is sick too. But by the way, this is a prog rock cold that we got. We all got this from John Anderson of Yes.
I do feel like that makes it a little extra special.
It doesn't for me, though. Yeah. Because the thing, it's an extended cut. It's a jam. It goes on for like 3 album sides.
But it is progressive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess. Progressive like the insurance company. Wow, those pictures were hilarious. Chris, I know that you're excited about tonight.
Very excited.
Now, for you having a bet on this,
yeah,
does it make it even more or less?
Oh, it fucking jacks it up. It jacks it up for me. First of all, I'm a Northside boy from way back. So I got my Cubbies in the World Series Game 7. That's very exciting. But now that there's money on it, I can't contain myself. I'm like a bundle of nerves here.
You've got big money on this.
Yeah.
You've got a lot riding on it.
I got Hard Rock Giant down my neck. $500.
Did he say $500?
Yeah.
$500.
Also, is it down your neck or is it down your throat?
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Breathing down my neck.
Okay.
He doesn't know what he's saying.
Got it.
I got him down my neck. All right. Vito. And Vito, how did you feel like you did last night?
Oh, but I feel like I did well.
It's amazing to me. What? Because if I asked you anything last night, you just went into a panic. I think no matter what you're doing, if you're producing, don't let anyone see fear in your eyes when you're asked a question. And it looked like at one point he just wanted to run out of the building. I forget even when I said, how do we get to the stage from here? He lost it. And then he yelled at me, only Chris knows.
It's impossible.
And I go, Chris is doing the opening. Chris, I look at him right now. He's about to announce me.
We all walked onto the stage, though, at some point before the show. We were all on that stage.
I don't know what it is, Chris.
Yes.
But there seems to be how each generation is supposed to hand down?
Yeah.
You hand down nothing.
I don't want to do that.
Everyone just feels like Chris. I'll check with Chris. And I'm like, check with Chris before the show. All right, what is your Kevin James, your big Kevin James news?
So Kevin James was at the Garden front row, and he was going absolutely nuts for Billy Joel. Does this feel like a TMZ moment the way he delivered that?
I feel like I should be like, what are they always drinking out of on TMZ? Well, they have stupid water bottles or something.
It's a water bottle with a giant straw, and it's hard where you have to wash it out. All right, let me just see this. Well, by the way, he is a Long Island guy. Doesn't look like he's gone that nuts to me.
Well, when it gets to Still Rock and Roll to me...
All right, why don't you tell us where that is rather than have all the things there? Which one is that?
It's
He looked at me like a man at a concert.
I don't even see Kevin in this one.
Did you send these clips in?
I sent a link.
All right, just stop it, please. There's nothing but a Billy Joel concert taking place here that Kevin James is at. You got to click through to the TMZ video. Maybe that should be the only one up. Where's the TMZ video?
Here we go. Here's the TMZ video. Here's Kevin James losing his shit.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Right,
I can see from the still, this looks a little bit more like losing.
He's very excited. So, I can understand why he would be, because he's a Long Island guy, and they are terribly proud to have a rock star from Long Island. Ridiculously proud. best Chris Christie. All right, Vito, I'm going to tell you something right here. Do you see who he's surrounded by?
Yeah, he's with all his co-stars.
This is probably for the show.
I don't know. I think they were broing out. I think they took a night off
on stage.
Yes. This is going to be on the Kevin Can Wait show. No one goes out. Look how they're all acting.
Yeah, this is fucking...
Billy Joel just gave him the microphone. How do you not get that isn't a show and everybody's staying in character with him? And there's a giant camera in front of him. This is a TV show, dude.
No, he's just out partying. Long Island's own.
Look, every single guy. He doesn't have one friend at the show that he doesn't do. And everyone's making sure they stay in shot.
I would go with Chris to a Billy Joel show.
I understand that, but I want you to try to be on fucking top of things. You should have just said, hey, Kevin James shot some of his show at the Billy Joel thing. You'd be off TMZ by now.
We'd be angrily sipping that water.
You got work, bruh.
We got some footage right now of Billy Joel, and it seems like Kevin James was just going straight dude, bro. We were able to catch him on his way out to the car. We asked him what he thought about the Hillary emails. That's always the fucking funniest thing.
Like the unrelated thing?
Well, yeah, that's what they do. They catch a celebrity, and they're like, we saw Iggy Pop coming out of a fucking CVS, and we asked him what he thought about Kim Kardashian's latest problem.
We asked him, what did you think about Khloe Kardashian's racist friends costume? It's like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. She seems like she's okay.
Here's the picture. What do you think of this?
Hater, right?
I don't know. And then they'll come back, wow. He came down hard on Khloe Kardashian. I mean, where does he get off?
But you know what I think is really great is the people who really take the bait. They're like, oh, good, this is my platform. I do really want to talk about this thing.
Dude, I saw Voss on there one time. They asked Voss something. I think he was coming out of a deli. And it was Voss and Bonnie. And they were fucking hilarious on TMZ. And it was really funny to see somebody you know.
Was it the same thing, like a random question, like asking them?
I think, yeah. Here, I think we got a clip of it. Here, go and play it. At that volume.
Rich Voss, he's a comedian. He's in New York. He's coming out of Familia Pizzeria. He's there with his wife, Bonnie McFarlane, who's also a comedian. And she's very pretty, you know. He's kind of goofy looking dude.
Look how hot she is, isn't she?
She's very hot, dude.
And then we say,
Male comics must go crazy for you, but the problem is you got a husband, obviously, right?
Well, Rich Voss, she got to the V's, and I got lucky. She got to the V's, get it?
Yeah, you're saying I'm a whore on television.
and then we say,
I don't want to say she's out of your league, but Rich, come on.
But I have flaws. I have a really little vagina.
that's not a flaw.
Look who gets a joke.
Oh, hey, God.
I appreciate it. Take it. I will.
I forgot that dude used to be on TMZ, that long blonde haired dude.
He was just like the surf bro?
Yeah.
Just like,
what happened to him, man? I'm dying.
That's actually not a flaw.
But he was like the man. Yeah, I know. You get a joke, dopey.
And then why does he get the laugh for that?
Yeah.
He just says the obvious. Like, she obviously said something that isn't a flaw. Then he says it's not a flaw. And then everyone's like, he's so funny.
You do want a little vagina, so that's where she's totally fucking lost on herself.
Dude, I didn't know you worked with TMZ.
Oh, yeah. I've been there for quite a few years. I've been there since the OJ days. I mean, Orange Juice Jones. Now, what happened to the blonde dude? That's all I want to know.
He moved after 8 years at TMZ. He moved on to The Dirty, which is run by Nick Ritchie. I guess it's another gossip column.
The Dirty.
The Dirty.
I never heard of The Dirty.
He must be doing okay because he was on Millionaire Matchmaker.
Now, what happened? Look, you are like a fucking TMZ guy coming in like that. He does TMZ.
I could imagine him in that little like cubicle section,
being
like,
totally wrong about everything.
Saying someone is like,
we just found out that Puka Dude moved on to the dirty. Yeah, dirty what? Dirty gossip. And then what happened to our buddy that was with TMZ?
He's still with TMZ. I saw him yesterday.
Oh, you did? He was hanging out front?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while, but I don't come in as early as I used to.
Now, he always does the man on the street stuff, but was he ever in the pit? I don't know what they call that.
No, just rarely. They would normally have him on with just like FaceTiming him because he's always in New York and they're out there.
Right. He's in the field.
But then he had that game show.
Yeah.
South of
Wilshire?
Wilshire, I think, yeah. Fucking Vito is a TMZ columnist.
He really could be.
Just adding weird shit like that. And then he has those stupid little things that he throws in, like they would actually, like, whatever his Vito thoughts are that are always so dumb. It's like a young, dumb TMZ person.
It's a perfect millennial job for you.
And any of those guys, when they'll sit around and argue about whether a big ass is good or not on those shows, you're like...
Or like if someone's tits are real or if they've had work done. They're always fighting, did this person have work done?
Right. That could be you,
like, Vito, you would love that. I think you would love that kind of chatter.
Yeah, it's shitty work done shittily. You would love it.
I would have to move up to the front seat. That's the goal.
Oh, the closer you are to
I don't think so. Because the black dude is never sitting up front, and he's definitely the number 2 man.
He's the main guy around
What's
there.
his name?
I'm not sure what his name is.
Charles.
Charles gets to take over when other mean man isn't there.
When Harvey's not in, Charles takes over. But I think Charles is like second in command at TMZ.
Do you ever do this, though, at the end of the show? I'm a lawyer. So you can say it along with it?
All the time.
I'm a lawyer. And then, you know what always gets me, too? They hit Harvey with 2 jokes. He's old or he's rich. Those are the 2 things.
Those are,
they just tag.
Those are in the realm of we're allowed to joke about this thing.
What is your latest stupid Vito thought? Do you have one?
I was thinking about, like, the concept of what if we're all just living in somebody else's dream?
No, man. So this is one you gave no thought to whatsoever, right?
No, I really thought about that.
Well, I mean, what's your point of it?
So
you're asking what is reality?
What if this world we live in, we're really just living in somebody else's dream?
Yes, I fucking got that the first time you said it. It would still be our reality. Do you experience it as reality?
Yeah, but it's not reality then.
But that is here's what you're really asking, right? What if you found out that there was a God or there was a purpose to life and there was one that you didn't like? You know what I mean? Like, what if the purpose to life was to just keep, fucking being here because we're of service to something else? And then people would act like, well, that sucks, but why would that change your life?
Like, what you're asking is, do you think that if you were in someone else's reality that you wouldn't have free will? Is that what freaks you out about it?
Well, yeah, that, and just the whole point of that, like, you're just a background in somebody else's.
Yeah, but you are. You are. Like, that is what reality is.
And then somebody's a background in your fucking reality.
See, that's crazy, because in your
head...
It
isn't crazy. You want to just believe that you're the center of the universe like a fucking child.
No, I don't want to believe in the center of the universe, but in your head, you are, like, what's going on with you is the number 1 priority.
So you're shocked that it isn't for everyone?
No, but if it's like...
You don't mean anything to fucking billions of Chinese people. You mean nothing. Whether you fucking hit the lottery or fall down a fucking elevator shaft, they're not even going to hear about it. So all you responsible is for your own fucking thoughts. No one else gives a shit.
What
are you panicking about over there?
The lights just went off and it really freaked me.
Why? You're a grown man now.
No, I just didn't expect it.
He's afraid of the dark.
He scares easily.
Who's doing that to the lights?
I don't know. I think...
Thank you very much. You didn't have to. Did you go out and get these? Oh, yeah. Dude, you don't have to do shit like that.
That's why Connor's the...
Did you send them out?
I didn't send them out.
Connor, come over
I did not send him out.
Take a seat. Because you're going to start working GPS with us, right?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Working on it right now.
He should be working on the Icon show, too. Because we're not going to get shit out of Jam Band now, right?
No, he's signed someone else from his channel to it.
So that we help him get a job, and then that's the end of it.
Yeah, it's fucking...
that's the way life is.
It's indicative.
Indicative?
I'm not sure if
What do
that's...
you mean by that?
Shows his real true colors.
I think it's a good thing because it opens up a spot for Connor.
Yeah, this is great for Connor.
Yeah.
I have great
And then we
feelings
try to
about
get
him.
Connor a job
Yeah.
in the music department.
Love Connor.
And then we don't get mad at Connor when he goes on and, like, we're not fucking Vito where we think we're the center of the universe.
Got it.
Who turned off the lights on you, Vito?
I think Connor did it by accident.
Well, you
Connor's
just set that child into a panic attack.
Connor, careful with the lights, Connor.
I felt a million times better when I was at my house this morning.
Really?
Mhm.
Maybe it's the
Maybe
air
I'm
in
allergic
here.
to Chris.
Oh, God.
It could be.
I did try to stay away from you last night as much as possible.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that.
He needed help. Why did you leave him? You hear how sick he is? Man, I'm really starting to feel it.
Yeah.
Starting to can you hear it in my
You
voice
sound
a little
congested.
bit? I thought at first when I woke up this morning it was just from yelling at the show last night, but no, I'm starting
Yeah,
to
what were
think
you yelling about?
really mad at everyone. No.
I hope you didn't invite any guests in today, knowing that I'm sick.
There's a few guests coming in, yes.
Why?
We'll get them sick.
Why, dude?
In a sick
I
house.
fucked up. I should have rescheduled everyone.
Yeah, aren't you worried about people getting sick?
Yeah, I worry. I don't want anyone to get sick.
Well, then why did you book them? What, you just had to be told it?
Yes.
Okay. He always acts like he's in trouble rather than the person having it. This is
Well, I
why
wasn't
we
thinking.
Thank
That's
God,
nothing to
Connor's-
brag about.
It's not a brag. I swear to God, I'm not bragging.
Hey,
Oh, don't worry about it. I wasn't thinking.
some guy gave me a card last night saying, this one-on-one thing's pretty good. I can get you some billboard space. I deal with billboards. I go, what am I going to do with a billboard? He goes, billboard. I go,
I want somebody who has access to that, though. I mean,
about
that's
this.
a good to know.
I know. So I say to him, I'm like, I can't imagine buying billboards
Right.
for this. And he goes, I go, what does a billboard cost? He goes, you know what? Sometimes I get you up just on a billboard that would have been empty. Have a little space until somebody comes in and make you a nice deal.
Oh,
And I
that
go,
actually does sound pretty good.
I know. And I go like this, billboards, huh? And he goes like this, billboards. Billboards. It's been a long time since I had a nice billboard.
I know it's been a long time. You know what? I kind of missed the idea of that. It would be cool to see something like
Hell
that.
yeah.
A nice comedy one-on-one billboard.
Yeah, nice billboard for yourself.
Got a billboard.
Love a billboard.
You like billboards, right?
Yeah.
You drive down the road, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Ever look up? See
Yeah.
what's around here? That
Yeah.
could be you.
What?
Billboard. So, Connor, maybe we get a GPS billboard going.
Ooh, that'd be really nice.
So you now dislike Jam Band?
I'm very fucking annoyed with him.
People move up. You got to respect them where they are.
Yeah,
One
that's
thing I
how it
always
goes.
give myself credit for is I accept people's new positions immediately, and I always have.
Yeah, and it's a point of pride for you too. Your little
Yeah, I have a point of pride, but I never want to be the guy who goes, you know what? Go home and get your shine bucks. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you're a kid, you shine shoes. When you're older, you're a fucking hitman. I'm going to respect you as a hitman. Not going to think that you fucking shine shoes.
Yeah, everyone's been there.
I'm not fucking Tommy Batts, and I'm not going to come across that way. I got a better feeling about Connor anyway because I trust his taste in music more.
Because
No.
not so jam band heavy, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, everything can't be fucking fish, you know?
Loves fish.
And you love fish, right?
Yeah.
It
Both,
seems like you should be closer.
times, the band and the fucking delicious meal.
Which do you love more? Tuna fish sandwich or your favorite band fish?
Or an aquarium filled with pretty little candy-looking fishes.
I'll rank them right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Aquarium. Third. Don't like the smell.
You don't like the smell of an aquarium?
No, I think it's nasty.
I don't know. Do fish aquariums smell like the way I know
If you walk-
reptile
If you
and
walk to like a pet store, like the aquarium,
You might be smelling snakes.
yeah, reptiles, turtles even. I don't know.
regardless, it's third.
Okay.
Second, the banned fish. First tuna fish sandwich.
Wow.
It's not even fucking close.
You love tuna fish more than fish.
If you told me you can never listen to fish for the rest of your life or never eat tuna fish for the rest of your life, I'd say peace out, Trey Anastasio. Fuck off.
Can I tell you something? I had never put you through that kind of a Schindler's List. No, not Schindler's List, it was Sophie's Choice. Although, if you think about it, a Schindler's List is somewhat of a Sophie's Choice. You know, every time that you're picking one, you're forgetting another.
That's very true.
Now, if I worked for Schindler, I'd be going, are you absolutely sure about this list before I leave here?
Right.
Make sure, go over it again. Make sure there's no names left off here that you'd want to put on.
Schindler had it much tougher than Sophie.
And then I would be like this when I'm dealing with people. Hey, this ain't Ronnie's list. It's Schindler's List, okay? So I'm not just me right now, I'm the job. Okay? You're angry with me, but what you're really angry about is the job. If this was my list, it would be totally different. I think each of us would have our own list. In this case, the only list that matters is Schindler's List. No, I'm sorry, you're not on it. I don't know why people want to watch movies and make themselves so damn sad. I don't like that sad movie, and I don't like a scary fucking movie. And now here's something new. They say that the new virtual reality, the fucking fear factor in these things is through the roof. There's a thing up in the iBang about it, but it's enough to fucking make people have a meltdown in their fucking brain. It could snap them from reality, the new horror VRs.
Yeah, because I already get like that from just like a regular horror movie. It takes me a little bit to get out of that. Like, I think about it for at least the next 24 hours. So if you actually had to like be in that realm, no, I don't think I would be able to handle it.
See, the only horror movies that I let myself remember are ones I saw as little kids, because as soon as I was fucking allowed to decide what I was watching, it wasn't going to be horror. If I'm fucking sitting in my house now and a horror movie comes on, I'll go like this. What else is on? I'll watch classic baseball on ESPN, because why do I want to put that shit in my brain?
Leading up to Halloween, well, my boyfriend likes horror movies.
Why?
I don't know. He just does. And I usually, I'm like, no, I don't want to watch it. But around Halloween, I will watch some horror movies. And I actually watched two that I liked, and Chris and I got into very heated arguments over them because he said he hated both of them. One of them was It Follows, I think came out maybe last year.
Yeah, last year or year before.
Which I don't think was a fantastic movie, but Chris was like ravenously angry with it. Like, he was crazed.
Did you read my review on my blog?
No, I didn't.
I wrote, It Follows more like shit swallows.
Love that review.
And that's without even saying it.
Which I don't think it was fantastic, but I think it did some interesting things. And then the other one was The Babadook, which was very popular like maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I thought was a really good kind of
Australian horror film.
Yeah, did you see my review on that, my blog?
What was that?
Babadook, more like Bob for dick.
Love that review too.
All right, you know what? Now I'm turned on this.
People like my reviews because they're short and they're cursy. Short, cursy reviews.
But that one I actually thought was really good. And I mean, he was just furious with me. Furious that I said that I enjoyed the Babadook.
You hated them both?
I hated them both. And like the hype.
Do you like horror?
There's not many horror movies I like, but I end up watching them a lot of the time. I guess, yeah, I do like to watch them, but it never really scares me.
Do you feel scared?
Not really.
Because you're dead inside. I think a sensitive person.
Scared. Like, I was thinking about the Babadook for like a couple days. I'm still thinking about it.
I'm never like scared for myself, but I just feel bad for the characters that are set up like this. Like, this character will be stuck in like The Room.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about someone stuck in a room. I can't even fucking breathe thinking about it.
And there's a little kid in the Babadook too that gets all messed up.
Thank you. Say, why do I want to fucking... That's child abuse, dude.
It's really scary.
That was like one point where I was like disturbed, but the kid was having a freak out. I was like, how can anyone have a child?
Sounds like you like the movie.
With or without a Babadook.
With. That's the truth. It was actually a documentary.
Without is better. Certainly. It's certainly a better neighborhood.
The idea of like someone being like, should we have a child with or without a Babadook? Are we talking about in a world where a Babadook exists?
This is literally the way I felt when they wanted to get the kids a dog. I'm like, no. No. That to me is like you're saying, should we get the kids a Babadook? You know what my biggest fear with the kids getting a dog is I know that they are going to outlive the dog.
Yeah.
And I remember how crushed I was when my dog died when I was little.
Oh my God.
I did not want
horrible feeling.
No, you had a nice dog that lived a nice long life.
Yeah.
And how crushed were you when the dog died?
Horrified.
Horrified. It's a terrible thing. And anytime people are like, don't you want a dog? I'm like, I know what happens.
Yeah, and it happened so fast. Like, immediately with getting a dog, like the next day, you're just like, I love you forever. You'll never die, right?
Right.
Actually, I heard my boyfriend say, this is maybe like a good 3-4 weeks after adopting Brady. I heard him say to her, I hope I die before you. And I was like, that's sick. Why would you put me through that?
I said the same thing. I said, I hope Jack dies before Bernie. And that's because he had just said something that hurt my feelings the day before. Look, there's James Taylor opening for Obama at a rally. James Taylor, it's hard for people to believe, it was an early 70s sex symbol. And now he just looks like an old man standing outside the Poltergeist house, scaring everybody inside.
Great hat, though.
Vito, do you watch horror? Do you enjoy horror movies?
No, I don't like horror. I don't want to pay to be scared.
I know that you didn't because you lost yourself at work when someone clicked off the fucking light in the room, where, by the way, you still had plenty of light.
Yeah, well, it was a mix of the darkness, the light coming up, and what if the board went dead? It's a scary thought, Ron.
I don't think you're going to make it on TMZ, dude.
Mm-mm.
I don't think you got the fucking gumption right now.
Hell no.
I'll tell you this, too. I don't think Vito's a good producer. I don't think he has the dedication to me that I like to see in a producer. He's definitely dedicated to Gail.
Yeah.
God, yes.
He's dedicated to fucking Chris.
Barely.
But either his
All Gail, Ron.
either his fear or loathing of me keeps him from wondering if Ron's okay. You know what I mean?
It's bad country.
Yeah. And what? It's what?
It's bad country. It's fear and loathing.
I just think that he fucking sees bats flying in around when I come in. But I am like the fucking heavy asset to him. So when I come into the room, instead of worrying that I'm okay, he worries that I'm going to fucking say to him, Vito, do you know the answer to this question?
Vito, when he walks into a room, do you just think to yourself, I hope he walks out. I
Yes.
hope he walks out.
You do.
I gave you those mints yesterday.
I know, that was a strange thing to do because like 2 fucking things before I asked you for a mint. You know? So now he's like, I'm getting out of my fucking Uber and there's mints right in my face.
It's the autism, Ron.
You'll never not have mints.
Remember? Mints. So
Well, maybe that's the way it works. Is like whatever question you asked him that he panicked about. 2 shows from now, he'll have that answer down pat.
Yeah.
Like he will have that answer for you. Like you'll walk into the room, you're like, "That's how you get to the stage, Ron." You're like, "Yeah, I can see." It's
that
very
room was
clear.
packed out last night.
It was very tight.
Very attractive audience. I mean, we get a lot of attractive couples. I don't know why that is. You know, like when I fucking first started in radio, I was just working to dudes for like years. Just like, you know what I mean? But
There's
it's
always
nice.
a lot of ladies.
Yeah, it's very nice to have couples and sweet ladies.
Yeah.
You know, it's very weird too because I did a Trump thing last night, and out of that entire packed joint, there was only like 2 tables
Yeah.
that were Trump people.
And you know, like you're not just getting,
That
it's not just like
surprised me.
Manhattan people. A lot of these people are from,
B&Ts.
yeah, exactly.
Billy
Old
Gunner,
B&Ts.
fucking Bridge and Tunnel guy. You're Jersey, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where you live, Rutgers?
I used to live in Rutgers, but now I
Of
live
course.
back home in Old Bridge, which is nowhere.
I don't even know where that is. What are you handing me, Chris?
Oh, we have 2 guests coming in from the New York's Funniest, which is happening this Saturday at 4 p.m. at Caroline's in New York City. It's Jared Freed and Brendan Fitzgibbons.
What's his name?
Brendan Fitzgibbons.
I never heard that.
That's a really great name.
Yeah, that's a really unusual name.
Fitzgibbons.
What is it normally when it starts with Fitz?
Fitzpatrick?
Fitzgerald?
But Fitzgibbons.
Fitzgibbons.
Doesn't,
Fitzgibbons. Fitzy, if you will.
I I don't know if I'm voting because no one has approached me from the vote or die people, and I must be forced into voting.
About rocking the vote.
I don't even remember rocking the vote. Who was part of that?
MTV.
MTV was part of that.
MTV. That was like their big thing. Was
but what stars?
I don't know. It was like kind of like a '90s gimmick. So I don't know. It was just
Black
like
Keys
music.
did one.
Did they?
That's all I know.
Wow.
Black Keys did it.
All right.
Nick Denton just announced that Gawker settled with Hulk Hogan. I don't know what the details are.
Glad we can just sweep this under the rug. No hurt feelings.
All right, it's the original lawsuit was $141 million.
Mm-hmm.
He settled with Denton for $31 million.
Nice.
It shaves off $100 million. Good work.
Yeah, but it's still nice for Hogan.
Yeah. I think everyone wins there.
Well, except for the Gawker fans.
Oh,
their
yeah.
staff.
True. Forgot about them.
And the fact that Nick Denton has nothing left.
Yeah, that's true.
James Cameron said that the new thing is going to be 3D without glasses.
Yeah, for his new Avatar movies, he's pushing the technology and trying to get movie theaters to update their projectors so that you'll get 3D effects without the actual glasses.
So what he's talking about is live theater.
You know what I would like to see him work on, though, instead of all the technical stuff?
What?
Maybe some character development, some dialogue, some plot.
Subtext.
Subtext would be wonderful. Everything except for how this thing is shot. I really don't want to be at a movie going, how was this shot? What effects were used here? I want to fucking fall in love with the story.
It's the worst. That's what happened with The Hobbit, and then they turned it into 3 movies.
Didn't you love The Hobbit?
The second 2 was just so awful.
The second 2 Hobbits.
There should have been one movie. There should have been one
I saw
Hobbit.
the first Hobbit. It was fucking hideous. It was fucking unbearable.
I got caught up in it.
And I had to fucking see it. I couldn't get Chris in, right?
Oh,
and I'm
really?
like, what I wanted to do was get Chris into The Hobbit, and then I wouldn't have to see it. So I go to this fucking stupid screening room, and I'm already pissed that Chris isn't there to pay attention. Because I can't follow these fucking Hobbit names.
Right.
And it was Stephen Colbert and his whole fucking... I don't want to just act like that they fucking suck up to him. But I didn't think his balls were big enough for all the teabagging that went on. And I'm like, okay, he can get all his mutts in here who act like they like The Hobbit when I know they don't.
No, of course not.
Chris, what was that map that you just had?
That was from Nate Silver.
What's he got going?
29.2% for Trump, 70.7% for Hillary.
And by the way, that isn't... You're just forgetting to bring up that that's chances on the odds that they'll win. It isn't like that was what the vote is. 70
It's
to 30.
over, guys.
Yeah.
Don't even bother showing up.
It's literally, this map looks so much like the Obama fucking Romney map that you would easily be able to say the Democrat against the Republican, and it won't matter. So stupid. Why are you doing that during the show? Are you Fez now?
I just had it up because we were talking about the election before.
By the way, did you see the way I fucking stung Bobby with that Fez thing last night?
You really laid into him on it.
Yeah, I did. And he wouldn't drop it throughout the show and then after.
Did he bring it up to you after?
Oh, yeah. He's like, I can't find the picture. I don't know who put it up. And I'm just like, well, he's not living a public life anymore, Bobby. And he goes, yeah, but let him know that it wasn't me. And I'm like, Bob, he didn't want to take the picture. When you asked for the picture, he didn't want it. And then you promised him it was just for him.
No.
He doesn't wish to live a public life. And then he goes, well, the things that get out there. I go, Bob, it was on Reddit. And he goes like this. This is Robert Kelly to me. Reddit?
It's adorable.
Any normal person would have let him off the hook. Any normal person would have said, Bob, Fez understands,
right?
And he's fine with it,
right? But you had to push all the chips in on that.
Well, he's dealing with all different types of mental and medical problems right now. Why are you texting during your show when you know it drives me nuts?
No more.
What? I'm going to throw this thing down the fucking
Please don't.
You fucking cucked me by doing the no.
I'm not cucking you.
Why are you fucking texting during the show?
I was going to tell Vito to bring our guests down.
Why don't you let Vito fucking do it? I got to do a break now anyway. Okay? I'm sorry if you're worried that your guests are 5 fucking minutes late. I'll stop the show that I'm doing, and we'll move into fucking Chris World to talk to some people that are where at Caroline's?
New York's funniest.
Great. All right. We'll be right back. Bennington.
Bennington is back, and we've got Jared Freed and Brendan Fitzgibbons in studio with us. They're doing the New York's Funniest. It's happening Saturday, 4 p.m. at Caroline's in New York City. Go to carolines.com for more information. And Jared is at Union Hall tonight. You can go to Union Hall, New York, or unionhallny.com for tickets. And Brendan will be at Lucky Jack's in NYC tonight at 9 p.m. Go to Lucky Jack's NYC for tickets.
The New York Comedy Festival, is it popping for you guys? Are you busy with it? Or just...
I mean, it's really exciting. Everybody wants to do a show at 4 p.m. on a Saturday, so it's going to be perfect.
Can I tell you, I've been to that show. Oh. It packs out.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
Packs out.
Okay.
And all kinds of industry people there.
Yeah.
So the agents, the promoters, producers, they're all out there. This could be it for you.
Well, now I'm incredibly nervous.
You should be. Who do we got to beat? Who's the guy that you're saying, this guy is, he is coming in here like the Patriots, and we got to take him down.
Is Sinbad on our show? I don't think so.
Sinbad.
I once watched Sinbad do a show. He did a show, and you know how people usually walk off the side of the stage?
Yeah.
He walked into the crowd.
Yeah.
As if he was their god.
Yeah.
And they all embraced him. It was a family reunion.
That's awesome. I've seen a lot of shows, and I can honestly tell you, I had never saw anyone kill the way I saw Sinbad did in the 1980s in Florida. He took a room and fucking just took everybody in the room and blasted them against the wall.
He's amazing. I mean,
I don't think there was a punchline. I think it was a love of Sinbad.
That's the magic of Sinbad right there. He
started to tell a story about swimming and snot coming down out of your nose and you're just moving. And I'm watching people screaming and they're fucking just diving on the floor. And I'm like, I don't think he's got to the punchline yet, guys. Let's give him a chance.
Norm Macdonald has this great Sinbad story about how the first time he did Montreal, it was with Sinbad, and he Norm was working on his Montreal set for like years, 5 minutes down, years. So him and Sinbad go to the market or the store to get socks before. He's like, I gotta get some socks. And he's like, Norm's like, so I go out, I do my set, it goes pretty well. Sinbad comes out, he goes, what's the deal with socks? He crushes for like 20 minutes. Yeah. And Norm was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Dude,
I used to do a show at Caroline's, like, it was called Dudes Being Dudes with J Train. And he had his show, he was doing the whole weekend beforehand. And I guess I walked in, like, in the middle of his show, because I was like, I love Sinbad, I want to go see him. And I guess the whole show, he had been talking about, what is this dudes being dudes? What is dude? And he kept coming back to it, and then they were like, he goes, where's J Train? And I'm like, hi, and I'm a huge fan, I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like ducking in the back, and he's like, where is J Train? My buddy Nimesh Patel, another funny comic, he's on the other side of the room, he goes, we here? He brings Nimesh on stage, and Nimesh is like, it's not me, it's him. He points at me. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to go on. He goes, get up here. The whole crowd's like, get up here. And listen, I am a white Jewish guy. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm walking into Harlem. And I go on stage, and he's like, tell these people what Dudes Being Dudes is. You tell them. He pulls a chair onto the stage. Yeah. And he goes, tell them. And I go, I don't know what to say, Sinbad. He goes, any questions? A woman gets up, and she's like, why do men, they're all asking questions. Like
suddenly it's a talk show.
Yes.
And it's
amazing.
Hilarious.
And I started answering questions, and then one woman was like, why are you catcalling us in the middle of the streets? I was like, well, listen, I'm white. We don't do those things. And then it turned into like a race war. Yeah. So it was a fun.
Who does more? Who catcalls more? Is it blacks or Hispanics?
I would probably say Hispanics, maybe more.
Even more.
Maybe more so.
Okay.
I'm uncomfortable with the mommy talk. I don't mind any, like, I can grab him by the pussy, doesn't bother me. Yeah. But mommy, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
They call their own children mommy and daddy. I don't understand Hispanic.
Papi and mommy, yeah. It's like their term of endearment.
But that is fucking hilarious that he just turned this into.
And I remember I was so nervous because I'm a huge Sinbad, just like we're saying. He's hilarious.
I think he's awesome.
And I'm like House Guest was like my family's favorite movie growing up. You know, like
I liked Necessary Roughness. Man. That movie was the shit. It was so good.
So I remember just like being so nervous, and it went well. And then after that, he just goes, "That's J Train." And like, now, I was like, "Are we going on the road together?" He's like, "No, what's your name?"
I'm on to the next thing. Yeah. Everything is material for him. But that is so goddamn funny. The Norm Macdonald thing is perfect for Sinbad. But I'll give you, to me, this is my favorite Sinbad thing. So there was a show in the 80s that was called Star Search.
Yeah.
And they would it was almost like American Idol, but then it would be like, who's the best model? Who's the best comic? So he came back, and Sinbad was on that show for like 15 weeks. And the first time he comes out, he was just like himself, and everybody was clapping. And the next week, he like had a funny shirt on, and everybody, you know. And I'm like watching this. I'm like, he's fucking spending money and becoming a star in front of our eyes. And he just started spray painting his hair and shit, and everything about him was changing. And it was the funniest shit in the world.
The original Ken Jennings.
Yeah, he just went with it. He was just like, is this the way to sell out? I'll do it.
Were there a lot of other performers who were made through Star Search?
I'm trying to...
I'm actually reading Norm's book right now, and he talks about how he lost to a guy named the Bushman. He got crushed. He got like a fourth of a star, and the Bushman got like 5 stars.
There was a lot of comics that were on, like Dennis Miller had done this show.
Yeah,
and
definitely it was a legit way to somewhat make it, I think.
Yeah, it was just to be seen, and then, there weren't as many shows on there, so you would get a lot of eyeballs watching this one dumb show.
Well, it's kind of funny that show was just basically all the reality shows in one show.
Right.
You know, like now there's Last Comic Standing, there's American Idol, there's, America's Got Talent. That was just one show that just birthed, every section of the show became its own show now because there's so many places that, have TV.
I can't believe that I've spent fucking time watching a show where someone's cooking against another person. And then I'm like, oh shit, he didn't use this parsnips.
And you get into it, too. You're into it. You're
That's like the best kind of comfort TV, I think. Cooking shows are like that, or just like some
HGTV, people love the prop roast because it's just the same shit every single episode.
I will watch back-to-back bar rescues. I will watch John Taffer yell at a Mexican for overcooking the fries for weeks. That will be.
He never walks in and goes, guys, this isn't so bad. Yeah. We're going to make a few tweaks.
Right.
I'm okay with this.
Also, what was that bartender, that person who originally had the bar, what was his, dream for the ambiance? He was like, oh yeah, we'll have a fly corner over there, and, we're going to have an old couple having sex over there. Kids are going to love it.
But I watch, and I watch it the same way, I don't watch it every week, but I will watch 14 episodes in a row. And then I'll go on to see if the place is still around.
That's cool. Yeah, I go to the place. I did a gig in Atlantic City, and I was like, okay, let's go to the Map. You can go to Food TV Maps.
Yeah.
And I went to one place, and you walk in, and you're like, I'll have the sandwich. It felt like everyone was there, from 14 hours of watching these shows. They just went from the bed to this place, and we're all getting the same, fries with chili on them.
But do you think that Tapper is any kind of a genius, or he's just a fucking, a fucking medicine man?
I think he's good at what he does. I mean, but he also has a truckload of money to redo these people's bars.
But I think it's a faux redo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He goes, we're going to change this into a corporate.
That always looks pretty shit.
Well, it's like going to the dentist. I think of Taffer like going to the dentist. You go to the dentist, they're going to clean your teeth. You're going to walk out of there like you got brand new teeth, but they're going to look at you and say, now it's your turn to floss.
Right.
And listen, if you're 31 and being told to floss, I don't think you're changing that much. I don't think the next day, all of a sudden, you're Mr. Hygiene. So these owners really are, debilitated, personally. They're a mess inside. And, the best is when Taffer it'll be like a couple that owns the bar, and Taffer sits with the couple to like get their relationship back on track. And it's like, wait a minute, dude, you take care of the two-touch POS system.
Well, some of the guys will be like, I think you're an alcoholic, and and you're like, if you're an alcoholic and owns a bar, forget about it.
It's over.
I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you're a fucking sex addict and you own a fucking titty bar. You're going to be banging fucking
I just love the thought of a guy being like 10 years sober. What got you off? What got you off the juice? Oh well, John Taffer said a few choice words.
Yeah,
and
I own a bar.
Was good.
I own a bar. That's how I get off of it.
Have you ever seen one where you thought it was actually an improvement? Like, have you ever seen one of those episodes and thought, oh, that is a nice bar. That does look like he's done something other than just like a silly, like over the top theme.
I mean, what do you?
Like,
I mean, some of the ideas was like, we're going to use fresh ingredients to make our, and you're like, you're not.
You're not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, now it's to the point where I watch that show so much that you see bars that you're like, that just looks like a Taffer put together.
Yeah.
You know, like my buddy's lives in Chicago, and he was telling me about, Wrigleyville, what's going on there, and how crazy it is. The bars in Wrigleyville are just it looks like you went to John Taffer Disney World of John Taffer places.
Right.
Because they've just made these into like, bars that, look like something that he had just redone 5 minutes ago.
And the funny thing is, you used to go into Chicago and there was like a million different cool dive bars there.
Yeah. This is what my buddy was saying. It's sad.
And those bars are leaving and gone and under. And now you have places that are brand new that try to look like they have some history to them. And you're like, but you don't. These other places, that really was the pictures of their fucking relatives or old bar patrons in there. And now everything is fake.
It's such like a millennial thing. We all want to like feel interesting. Like everyone my age, we want to feel interesting. We want to feel like we found something. Right. I went to a bar in Brooklyn. I'm walking around. I'm like I was like, I love this bar. They have big booths and they look like they're 100 years old. And I'm looking, just like you said, I'm looking at pictures on the wall and everyone's dressed hip and looks cool. And I'm like, man, how long has this place been open? They're like 6 months ago.
Right.
These guys just figured out the pheromones that our generation are into, and they're like, yeah, we'll just give them small plates.
I just thought, what if you went to John Taffer's house and every room in his house was decorated like a different bar?
His house is a trophy case.
Shitty dive bar.
You don't think that John Taffer has a house, do you?
He does not have a house.
Driving around
his bars
with that car, pulled over and fucking being furious. Look at that place in there.
This place sucks. My house would never look like this.
I can't stand it anymore. We're going in there.
Or his house is just a comedy condo. It's like one of those shitty comedy condos by the river somewhere in Louisville. It's like one of the two.
Jared Freed and Brendan Fitzgibbons is in studio. They're doing the New York's Funniest. It's happening Saturday at 4 p.m. at Caroline's in New York City. Go to carolines.com for tickets and information.
You brought up an interesting thing, though, about people wanting authentic now and faking it. I think what like a lot of the young hipsters don't understand is like Hemingway didn't start looking like that. You know what I mean? Like, he was a young man at one point.
Right.
And when he looked old and grizzled, it's because he was.
Yeah.
Because he had lived life.
Well, it's just this need to be interesting. I mean, how many people do I have to see on a daily basis that have tattoos that I never would have thought had tattoos?
Right.
It's just this like, I looked at a kid, I was at a bar last night and I'm just looking at this kid and I'm like, he looks like he's 15, his fresh face, it looked like he had a nanny, and then he's got this huge, like, fucking Mother Teresa thing on his arm like he's in the, in a gang war.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's just like this thing that'll be like, I gotta just dress this up somehow to be my own special snowflake.
Right. And yet, it's the same. The fact is, everyone is tattooed now. The interesting thing is somebody who isn't.
Yeah.
You're like, hey.
Oh, I always find that more. I was like, why didn't you get tattoos?
Yeah, it's
That's
because my Jewish mom has too much control over me.
I can't really talk. I grew up in the 90s, and I have a Tupac is alive tattoo, so I can't really talk.
You're so interesting. Yeah. So cool.
But that's the same way. Remember when Dennis Rodman came into the league, and everyone was like, he's fucking crazy. He's got tattoos. Now it's crazy. Kevin Durant is like, and Steph Curry, only two that don't have tattoos. And aren't just wall-to-wall tattoos.
Well, it used to actually even be interesting if any black dude had a tattoo, because they didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then now, like you said, it's just across the board. But yeah, Rodman was looked at as insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he's insane. His whole arm. It's tattooed.
And it was colorful, too.
Yeah, he's dyed his hair and he's tattooed. And he's listening to Pearl Jam.
And now today, that's your doctor today.
Yeah.
You know?
Now Eddie Vedder has the world's worst Cubs song of all time. So you're stoked, I guess.
Huge.
I know Chris is
you
locked in.
Yeah.
Tonight
Nice,
is
dude.
going to be as good as you can get.
I think so too.
In sports.
I mean,
I'm so excited.
what is better than a Game 7?
I'm so
Game
excited, man.
7 between two cities who deserve some kind of, baseball love.
There is nothing I would want to see more except for 2 shows tonight, a part of the New York Comedy Festival. If it goes 9 and 10 o'clock shows on a Wednesday, and then Game 7 with 100 years of history.
My favorite thing to watch in this playoffs has been just the Cubs fans' PTSD, because I have it too.
Yeah.
Like, we're up by 7 last night, and I'm still holding my breath with 2 outs. I'm like, we could lose this. We could easily lose this.
I'm so happy to not. I'm from Boston, and I'm just so happy, because now I'm like going back thinking of how I felt.
Sure.
Like when
it's not pleasant.
It's not a fun experience.
It's not fun
at all. You get an ulcer.
There is no sport that creates the tension of baseball.
No,
because you're
God.
stuck in between those pitches. I mean, you don't watch a football game and people are praying or hiding their eyes. There's action going on.
Yeah.
But baseball is just pulling that rubber band.
Yeah. And there's a personality to like at bats. Like people are like, the NFL ratings are down.
Yeah.
And people are getting really into this series.
yeah.
Like the ratings are, the Cubs are the story, and then the Indians.
Yeah.
But like, you watch every at bat, you're like, I have to tune into this. I have to be, this pitcher has got this going on, this batter's got this personality. And then, football, you kind of realize you're like, it doesn't have that same minute-to-minute drama.
Yeah, well, they've changed the game a little bit too, where some fucking 6'7" receiver can come down and score 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? But baseball has that thing of, holy shit, everything is on this one kid's. I mean, that kid last night, he's 22 years old.
Oh, no.
22 years old.
Yeah.
What do you have, 7 ribbies?
6.
6.
Russell, yeah.
So he's only behind Mickey Mantle, is the only guy who did that younger than him. And you get to say to this guy, dude, you realize that, maybe you don't get it, but you are in history. No.
Yeah.
I know you're only 22. And you should be living at home or interning for a radio show.
You should be out getting a tattoo.
Yeah. But that is an amazing thing to go down. It's fucking really great theater in front of you. And tonight is going to be unbelievable.
Great.
It's also been really good for John Cusack's career, because he's been making some cameos.
You know what I feel bad about? That he didn't get to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball."
Oh,
game.
he didn't? Oh,
No.
man, come
they
on.
gave it to Bill
Vedder.
Vince Vaughn.
Vedder and Vaughn. Yeah.
And Bill Murray. In fairness, all 3 of those are...
I'd take those.
You know what
3
John
over
Cusack should have done? Held up a radio outside of Wrigley.
Oh, God, I never stop crying. I would have yelled, go to him. Go to him. Your dad is mean. Your dad is stealing money from old people.
Yeah, do you think Bartman is cheering for or against
Great
the Cubs?
question.
Bartman has done something really interesting and has not fucking said a word.
That's
all
great.
these years.
Isn't it cool?
It's the most un-2016.
Yeah.
It makes me really like him, actually.
Yeah.
At this point, you would think he would have a talk show.
Yeah.
absolutely,
be
man.
like, I got a million Twitter followers.
Yeah.
I'm doing another documentary.
Yeah.
He could have sold so many turtlenecks.
Yeah, right. He'd be on Instagram with flat tummy tea.
Yeah.
Right now. I can't. Do you think I've been thinking about him a lot recently, just through this whole series.
I just think he's sitting there doing fucking rails.
He's got 7 hookers around him. He's just like, fuck. I would hate the Cubs.
Yeah.
If I were him. I'd be like, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
There would be no way imagine it. Like, I kept thinking about, if you went to, Thanksgiving and you loved your family every year, and the equivalent is that he screwed up and he had to bring a side, but it was a major side dish, he had to bring the stuffing. And one year he fucked up the stuffing, and everyone in his family just got irate. They
blamed him for
ruining all of Thanksgiving. His parents got a divorce because of it.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's because of the stuffing.
He showed up
fuck that family.
And he showed up to Thanksgiving wearing a transistor radio headphones. How could you get mad at that guy?
Showing up
it was so innocent, and he was by himself. Leave the guy alone.
The face of Asperger's.
Leave the fucking guy alone.
But You lean back, dude. You lean back.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
And then if it's them, you lean forward.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned this as a little kid. My fucking dad would do this.
Yeah.
Lean back. This guy, like you said, I don't know what the fuck happened to him.
2003.
He made the worst fucking mistake, but
he was brutalized. It was like
he had to move.
And people always try to act like, oh, Chicago, it's a nicer version of New York.
No.
Oh, dude, they were so mad.
The minute they had the chance to ruin a guy's life for ruining a baseball game, they did.
Yeah, they did, and they just, they were literally pissing on the guy.
I mean, Philly's got a bad rap, but it seems like Chicago has at least a similar.
Well, if you're urban, you're gonna, you're rough. If it's a rough.
If that was Philly, it would have looked like those terrorist videos where they hold the reporter and they're about to chop off his head. They would have made that with Bartman. They would have been chop off his head after shitting in his mouth.
I saw a guy in Philly when I was a kid, and he was watching the game wearing a fucking different hat, and I saw him without knowing it get kicked in the fucking side.
Oh my God.
Someone just came over and kicked him. And the fucking funniest thing was the guy who kicked him hyperextended his knee. And he went hobbled back up, and it was like, good kick. No one gave a fuck. No one even called a cop. No one said a word about it.
Philly's disgusting.
Yeah.
It is like, I went to Penn State, so half the people there are Philly fans, half the people are Pittsburgh fans.
Yeah.
And you're like, you just can't imagine they're foaming at every turn. And, that guy who was giving the finger, did you see the other day?
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook came down the court and just gave him the finger. Like, right, and it's on camera and his face just looks like Philly. It's just the face.
To me, Bills fans Bills fans are ridiculous, man. Did you see they just threw a dildo on the field?
I loved it. I loved it. I'm a Patriots fan. I was watching that game. I got sent on Twitter that dildo video like it was a UFO video, like 1,000 times. And I just love the thought of that guy leaving the house with the dildo. Like he was like had to walk by kids and families at a football game, and then was like, okay, now's the time.
It's
Throw it on the field.
Dildo that's just burning his hole in my pocket.
Literally, we talk about Bartman. That's an entire city of Bartmans that they went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost every one of them.
So that's why they throw themselves through tables before games? They just body slam themselves.
Have you been to Buffalo? There's very little else to care about.
That's probably it, right?
It's under a cloud at all times. But all NFL fans are disgusting. Like, if you ever been to an NFL game, an NFL game, I went to a Patriots-Jets game, and listen, I'm wearing a Patriots sweatshirt. I expect to get fucking a verbal back and forth at some point. I get popcorn. I'm edging my way through the row. A guy whispers in my ear. Okay, he whispers.
Already
whispers.
creepy.
It's like sexual. He just goes, "You patriot faggot motherfucker." And I go, and then I'm holding popcorn. He takes his gloved hand and takes a handful of my popcorn and starts eating it. There are dominatrix videos with more respect given to their subservient than this guy gave to me. And I had to go sit down next to him.
Cucked.
I was totally cucked. Totally cucked. I got popcorn cucked.
Yeah. See, why don't you?
Corn cucked.
Yeah, I don't. When I'm at anybody else's thing, I'm undercover. I'm like a fucking undercover narc there.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking cheering for my team. I'm just like, this is my friends. Mm-hmm. Looks like we're doing okay.
Yeah.
These are nice.
The best experience I had, my buddy, I brought him to a Patriots game, and he's a Steelers fan. He wore his full Steelers thing, but then there was another Steelers fan that was like dressed like a hipster Steelers fan. So he was like so embarrassed to be associated. Like he had the scarf on and like a hipster, like had like the bucket hat, the Steelers bucket hat. And he was like, I was like, "There's your boy. There's your guy. Look at you. You and."
Did you see that Cleveland fans couldn't even get their fucking sign together at the Browns game? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
It was so fucking embarrassing. They didn't fucking put the sign together properly. They just sat there throughout the game. Now, if LeBron didn't win last year, the Indians fans would be sure that Cleveland wasn't winning tonight.
Yeah,
they were supposed to say dog pound.
Oh my
and
god!
It just says Podawan.
It's fucking amazing.
Padawan. It looks like they're just big Star Wars fans.
But I've
G Padawan.
Yeah.
I've never enjoyed the NFL cosplay guys that are dressing up. I don't like Cleveland for doing it. I don't like the Oakland Raiders, and I'm embarrassed by the Tampa Bay fucking ship and pirate pretending.
The Vikings guys also like to dress as Vikings.
The Vikings,
yeah, they do. And Raiders. I mean, Raiders fans are.
Yeah. They're embarrassed.
Yeah, they're embarrassed.
But the Vikings used to have a cool thing where they would get drunk and not wear shirts when it was 4 below. But now they're inside and they're cosplaying. And it's ridiculous. I mean, it used to be a scary place to play.
Now it's like, look at that cute Viking and his furry friend. Yeah.
Jared Freed and Brendan Fitzgibbons are in studio with us. They're doing the New York's Funniest. It's happening this Saturday at 4 p.m. at Caroline's in New York City. So go to carolines.com for tickets and information.
And you can see why they're in it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think it's a 2-man race now.
Right. Yeah.
We got this.
Who else is in this?
Tim Dillon.
Give him the bad news. Tell Tim bad news.
Bad news, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Tim. Is Tim still gay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he might win. He's got a hook.
So, yeah, but who believes him?
Yeah, right.
Soder.
Listen, I'm a black woman, okay? Let everyone know.
Dan
On the
Soder
inside.
was telling me that this is the nightmare of his life, is that he used to middle for Bobby Kelly and have to drive with him, and now Tim Dillon fucking middles for him, and he has to drive with Tim. And he goes, for fucking, 15 years, I've just got a guy screaming at me the whole time in the car.
And you can't put anything in the cup holder. There's no room.
There's no room.
Can't even put your phone in there.
Yeah. Who else is in there? Anthony
DeVito?
Love DeVito.
Love DeVito. I gotta give him the bad news.
He's out.
It's not his
He's
year.
out. No,
Yeah, he's out.
It's not
year.
happening.
What is Greg Stone going to be standing next to him? I'm like, you can do it, buddy.
You got it, buddy.
Good old Greg Stone will be, he'll have a banner, a little pennant with Anthony's name on it.
Yeah, it's nice to be friends, but not that friendly.
No,
at a
close.
certain point, let it go. All
Greg
right?
told me, I was with him the other night, he tells me how it's like the best thing to happen in his life to come on this show. Like, we're talking about, and he was like, because I had said I was going to come on Wednesday, and he's like, they made me, like a tear was going down his cheek as he was showing me the parody song you guys made.
Oh, yeah,
like, he played it for me, and I was like, are you crying? He's like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me.
I got news for you. I have a weird feeling. I told him this. I think he's going to have Jeff Garland's career. There's something about him.
That's hilarious.
Greg Stone is going to be welcome into people's homes on TV.
Get those fun-sized candies now. Okay, Greg, start looking into fun-sized candies. Okay, that's all you got to do.
That is fucking funny. Well, that was I was doing with Segura in the MS this week, and he said that he had to just tell Ali Wong after her special, start spending money. Stop. You're really,
you'll be okay.
But it's hard, right?
Yeah.
When you're a comedian to know you're at any level.
Every day is worse than the last.
Yeah.
Anxiety of as a comedian, I think you just have to never think of tomorrow.
Right.
You just always have to think of this moment, and because if you were like, what am I going to do next Tuesday? You're like, oh my God, life is not going to happen next Tuesday. It's just, but I went and saw Segura at Caroline's.
Yeah.
That guy is he's holding the belt, man. Yeah, he is unbelievable. I went and sat in the back and just got fucking, another thing, you see a funny comic like Tom Segura, you're like, okay, why am I doing anything?
It gets a little depressing.
It's depressing.
Right?
You're like, this guy's nailed it. There's no other place to go.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That's the way that I think. Yeah. I hope that's the way Sinbad feels when he sees me on Saturday. So. He's going to be like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
It's all of his Chicago jokes.
Do you grow up in Chicago?
Yeah.
Or?
Suburb, Palatine, northwest suburb,
Well, the suburbs are part of Chicago. Unlike a lot of cities, they don't get mad when people from the suburbs say that they're from
Some people
Chicago.
in the city get mad when I say Palatine because it's super white and we just have a Target. And I'm like, I'm from Chicago.
Yeah, that's why you're a Cubs fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're not a Sox fan.
South Side's a different story.
Yeah.
They got Obama. That's about it.
They got Obama. They've got more, they got more championships.
Yeah, exactly.
But the
Well, that's why I like going to a Cubs game. It feels like you're going to a frat party. Like that is like, I mean, you want to look at, everyone looks the same at a Cubs.
Meanwhile, the White Sox were so unpopular growing up that Wendy's used to like do a deal where if you like bought a Frosty, they would just give you free tickets. They're like, look, man, we gotta just get to Comiskey. No one wants to go there. That organization, did you see they're now being sponsored by some mortgage company and their symbol is an arrow going down? You should look it up. I swear to God. Their sponsorship is over. It's no longer U.S. Cellular. It's a mortgage company. It's an arrow point, like a stock market arrow down.
I just like the thought of someone getting a Frosty and I'm like, and here's your tickets. Nah,
I'm good, man. I'd rather just like, can I just have the Frosty?
Yeah.
Well, you know,
that's exactly it.
I mean, my God.
The other thing with the Cubs and people are like, oh man, they suffer for so long, but I'm a baseball fan. There was so many decades they didn't even attempt to put a fucking team together.
Absolutely.
That's the whole story. I love going to Wrigley, and that's the whole story of going to the game.
Yeah.
They used to not, but they just put up a Jumbotron.
Yeah.
They just put up a screen. You used to go to I would go to the game, I'd get so fucked up. I would be sitting there, I wouldn't know what inning it was, what the score was. You couldn't know. So you didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, it just felt like that was the whole, you got it. Yeah, that was the whole point of the game was to go there and just drinking with baseball in the background. You know, like that.
Yeah. It was on, you know, like a lot of people would be surprised that the game was over.
Yeah.
Because they had their back to the game and they were talking to chicks. But I don't think I've ever been to another park that will have more single women show up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, single women go to fucking Wrigley because I guess it's like a real...
It's a hang, yeah.
It's
like
a frat
day in the
house.
park.
It is. Yeah. It's a total frat house. You go there. I loved it there.
It's awesome. The Cubs were like, you know, Smash Mouth in the beginning. They're like, we're just going to have one song and we're just going to ride on it.
Yeah.
We're just going to ride this out and see what happens. And I think it's going to be good.
You know what? The fact that we're still bringing up Smash Mouth, though, is really nice.
It really stood the test of time.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the All-Star thing, then there was like a Shrek thing eventually.
Oh, the Shrek thing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so 2 hits.
It's a sound. It's a specific sound.
Well, that whole, you know, as soon as that Walking on the Sun came out, I was like, a fat lead singer. I think we're making some progress. Like, I felt the way a lot of people felt about Obama.
Yeah.
I'm like, this shows.
Finally.
You can do it.
Look, Obama's just running everywhere trying to fucking save Hillary at the last second.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen a president go out and work so hard to get somebody else fucking elected.
It is heated right now.
Yeah, it's down
It
to the wire.
is getting. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Like people are getting in loud arguments in public. And
I can't talk to my parents for like 2 weeks. So
it's getting crazy. I mean, last night I did a show Lower East Side, like bar cake shop, and it was pretty full, but like full of. We're Bernie people that are gonna become Hillary people, like way left. And you mentioned Trump, the room just changes.
Yeah, that happened with us. We were at the Underground last night, and I brought up Trump, and there was maybe 2 people in the entire place.
Yeah, it's palpable. Like, listen, I mean, I deal with like I do my own podcast, and a lot of the listeners are young, right-leaning people.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting that, like, I just don't like that we've made these people into evil people. It's 50 million people.
Right.
You know, they're not that, you know, there's 50 million people that you have to live along next to for another 4 years.
Yeah.
And just to say that they're stupid fucking idiots. You know, they're sick of hearing I saw Michael Moore get up and do stand-up at Stand Up New York. And he was like, I think this happens a lot during election time. A lot of guys will be like, oh, my Trump tweets are doing well. I guess I should do some stand-up now, fantastic. You know, and Michael Moore went and there were 10 people there. So like, I'm like, let's see how Michael Moore does. And he gets up and you could tell it was his first time. He was actually nervous, but you could tell he was like, I've written bit 1, laugh, bit 2, laugh, you know, how people do when they're doing their first time. And he gets up and he's like, sorry to say the world is ending. Like he started with like, oh, the world is ending. And a guy is with his family at the table, 10 people in the whole show with the whole table. He just looks at his family and goes, let's go. Come on, time to go. Yeah. And you could see Michael Moore be like, what? Like he couldn't believe it because he's used to
his preaching to the choir.
His choir. So all of a sudden they start getting up and the guy just looks at him and you could see, I felt for the guy in the chair with his family because he got up, he goes, and he tips his glass to Michael Moore. Michael Moore goes, come on, I'm just trying to, and he goes, there's 2 people to vote for. And then he left and he's like, and I was on that guy's side because it's like, What do you want him to do? You know, like he's made his choice. He's an adult.
Right.
He came to the decision in the way he came to the decision. What are you going to sit? He's going to sit there being told he's now the cuck. Right. Told he's the idiot for 10 minutes.
Here's the thing about Michael Moore, that he's gotten to a point that he's no longer a help to his own side. Yeah. I don't know how you tell people that, like Pat Buchanan, you can say, like, don't go helping. You know what I mean? Don't help your side because you're the fucking, you know. Yeah. Sarah Palin found herself that way this year. I mean, 8 years ago, she's already, like Trump had to say, don't help me anymore.
Yeah, maybe you don't have to show up at that rally. If you're like, you know, that's how it started to be.
If you're looking for like middle of the road people aren't being like, well, Palin will get me over there. Yeah. You know, she's crazy to them too.
It is amazing fucking times to live in. I really think it's city people versus country people too.
It is. Yeah, it is
so much of
Everyone looks at the state, but Dallas is very fucking blue. You know what I mean? Houston is blue, and New York is fucking blue, and then you go upstate, 10 miles upstate.
I mean, New York's more of a neon glowing blue.
Yeah.
My parents are voting for Trump. There's no question. Yeah. And listen, I was going to vote for Trump too, and then I pulled it. And I have my own reasons, and you know, talked about it. And I had a comic the other night just be like, look at me and be like, I could understand why that'd be hard to talk to your parents about. I'm like, I'm not like a gay. I'm not gay and can't come out of the closet.
Right.
Like I'm fucking fine. They are adults that can make their own decision. Don't look at me like they're broken people. You know, they have their own reasons. And she's like, I can't. You know, I'm so sorry. It's like, no, they're my parents and they're allowed to do whatever the fuck they want.
I was going to vote for Jill Stein, but I think I'm just going to pencil in an NPR tote bag. just same thing. Just write it in.
I love those tote bags. They're very expensive. They're more than I ever want to pay.
Be like like-minded people.
Yeah.
Have you ever? I went to a Randy Newman show and I was the only person there without an NPR tote bag. And I'm not even making that up.
Did you at least have what's the bookstore? The Strand?
The Strand.
At the very least.
The Strand is so many tote bags.
But there's certain people that made by MP, like David Sedaris fucking knows everything to NPR. When people are like, who listens to that? I go, apparently a lot of fucking people.
I mean, it's always up there on the iTunes chart. I mean, American Life. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Ophira Eisenberg's a comic who I really like a lot, and she's making headway on there. It's awesome, man. Yeah.
When they pick somebody and they develop them and they play to it, it's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
But Bigley, I think, is getting.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything in his background, I think, has to do with that.
What man is carrying that tote? Like what, man?
Well, what are they even putting in there? What their balls? What goes into that tote?
How are you carrying that around?
I was carrying a tote bag, walking a dog, and wearing the sweater the other day in Brooklyn. I was like, someone needs to shoot me. Someone needs to shoot me right now. I have become the cliche. Hand me a fall latte.
I put on a costume the other night, and they were like, and I had my wallet and shit. I had no pockets, and someone was like, "Yeah, you can like put on a fanny pack or something." I was like, "Okay, I'm not going out."
All right, boys. So great to meet you. Thanks for swinging.
Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
Awesome.
Jared Freed and Brendan Fitzgibbons. They're going to do the New York's Funniest. It's happening Saturday at 4 p.m. at Caroline's in New York City. Go to carolines.com for tickets and more information.
Very, very cool, guys.
Thanks so much.
And best of luck to you with that. We'll see you next time coming through.
It's like a 140-character live journal. It's hashtag Bennington. Tweet it.
Bennington Show. Hey, a couple new buddies we made a little while ago.
Yeah, that was great. Those guys are the best.
Jared, is it Freed?
Jared Freed.
Mm-hmm.
And Brendan Fitzgibbons, which I didn't even get a chance to ask him that last name. Because Jared couldn't stop for a second. But fun guys. Really, really fun guys. Really like them. At JTrain56, at Brendan Fitz. Yeah, that's lucky when you get the...
Yeah, that's a good nickname.
The nickname Fitz and Fitzy, that's the best of all nicknames.
You're done. Like, you're just like, everything's fine. Then it doesn't even matter what your first name is.
No.
You're like, I'm set. I got this Fitz thing going on for me.
All right. And I feel like I'm riding Vito pretty hard today, and I'm going to say why I'm riding you hard, Vito. Love, okay? Tough love. But your big thing today, again, is Ariel Winter. Oh. And he has it as Ariel Winter in a bikini, and in no classification is what she's wearing a bikini. None.
What is she wearing?
A bikini is a two-piece suit with the bottom part and the top part being somewhat tiny. We know this. The entire name of the bikini came up in like the late 50s, early 60s. Okay? Now, to me, it's no different. You got to go to the iBank.
The link wasn't there.
Why wasn't the link at the iBank?
I'm not sure. It just says via Instagram, so I'm going to her Instagram.
No. That's not what we're looking for. I don't know why these get put up to me, and then I bring them up, and off we go. Let me go over here to Jill. Jill in New York. Jill.
Hi, guys. You were great last night.
Thank you so much, honey. It was a fun night, wasn't it?
It really was fun. It's hard to get me to stay up that late, too, and I enjoyed it.
Oh, I don't blame you.
So I just had the New York thing happen to me that you hope every time you walk outside, which is I had a conversation, walked down the block with Woody Allen and his wife.
Soon-Yi, the very lovely Soon-Yi.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen Woody many times, but I don't ever attempt to start a conversation. But I think it works better if you're a woman. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And, I had just started watching his Amazon show 2 days ago. So I was like, all right, it's not just, oh, I love you. It was, I just started your Amazon show, and I'm really enjoying it. And he said, you win the prize because you were the very first person that said they've seen the show to me.
Can I tell you the truth? You're the very first person who said it was enjoyable, too.
Oh, I like it. I think it's very funny. And
wow.
I love the wife. I forgot the actress's name, but she was in Inherent Vice. And I think she's so quirky and just enjoyable.
She's very cool. I can't think of her name either. You like her too. She was just on another show that we liked recently.
Was she on the lawyer show?
Yes.
She's the older woman? I think she's the best actress in America right now.
She's really, really fantastic.
Yeah, and she came out of I was looking at her IMDb because I'm she seems so familiar, but it's really just the last 3-4 years she's been picked up by these directors who fell in love with her too, I guess.
Well, you had another really big New York moment happen not too long ago.
I don't know. I've had a big fall.
I know. You got to hear this story, Gail. So tell it from the beginning. I'm going to stay out of it, but this is your story.
Okay. So sometimes in New York, you'll park your car, and then you get back to your car, and your car isn't there for various reasons. In this case, the president was in town, so my car was parked on a block, and they went down the block. They don't like to have any cars where its motorcade goes through, so they had moved my car. So I get to go find my car. My car's not there. So I called 311. I said, hey, where's my car? And they said, it's on, 70th and 3rd. So I'm like, all right, that's not too bad. So I walk up to 70th and 3rd, and the whole block is getting paved. There's a billion paving trucks on it. And I'm like, all right, clearly my car, even if it was here at one point, is not here anymore. So I called 311 again, and I said, where's my car? And they're like, we have no idea where the second move of your car is. So at this point, it's just becoming this ridiculous farce. And I feel like a complete private eye. I'm going into all the co-ops and talking to the doorman, did you see an old BMW here? And they're like, oh yeah, it was here on Monday, and then they moved it this day. And I was like, this is insane and ridiculous. So then I'm on the phone with the precinct trying to figure out where the car is and just walking around the neighborhood trying to find it. So I turn the corner, and lo and behold, the car is there on the corner. So I was like, great, found the car, everything's fine, get in the car, and the car was dead. So I was like, okay, this is fine. Get some jumper cables out. I flag a cabbie down. I'm like, can you please, just stay here for 5 minutes. I'll give you $10 while I jump my car. So it's becoming this 2-hour thing. And all of a sudden this guy walks up, and he's like, oh, I know these cars really well. I used to have one. Let me help you. I think I know what's wrong. And so I'm looking at the guy, and he's super nice, and he looks so familiar to me, but I was so flustered, and it was hot out, and I'm like, who is this guy? And then I didn't even think about it. So he ended up fixing my battery, starting the car. He sat and stood with me for 10 minutes, and we talked about the car and just everything. And he was such a nice guy. I'm like, wow, this guy's so nice. So finally I'm like, well, thank you. I should get going. My name's Jill. Thank you very much. And he goes, I'm Lester. Very nice to meet you. So I'm like, oh, Lester, that's an interesting name. So I get home, park the car, get home, like take a drink of water. I'm sitting on the couch, and I was like, Lester, God, that guy looks so familiar. That guy looks so familiar. It was Lester Holt.
Lester Holt?
What?
Yes.
Lester Holt.
So the whole time he was sitting there talking to me, and he was kind of giving me this like weird look, like, does this girl really not know who I am? Like, he must have thought I was such a
number one newsman. I'm the most trusted name in news right now. But how sweet that Lester Holt went and did this.
This is very sweet. He's a nice guy.
I'm sure you expected it to make page 6, and it would have. If she would have picked up the phone and called page 6, they would have loved it.
They would have loved it.
Yeah. But that is like that. I know now that will always make me like if anyone brings up Lester Holt, I'd be like, he's a good dude.
I know for a fact he's a good guy.
Yeah. Let me tell you a story like it happened to me, but it did, and eventually I'll act like it did happen to me. I had my old BMW. So you had that, and now you and Woody Allen walking down the street on the Upper East Side.
Yeah, walking down the street, and I always said the block. I always said it's one of the prettiest blocks in the city. So I'm not shocked that he lives there.
He also says it's the prettiest block in the city. That's the street that he lives on.
Yeah,
is it's gorgeous, and it's on your way to the museums, and it is just a nice walk. But the funny thing about him is, because I saw him going, like, he just enters that, opens the thing, and walks into his house. Like, he's literally 6 inches away from the general public at that door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's not
like a vestibule or a little mudroom, if you will.
Yeah, that's the thing about, he doesn't live in a building with security, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you notice, like, most of his movies, the apartments that like Dan Keaton live in, they're just like that. They're not in buildings. They all enter in directly through the front door. So I guess that's just what he prefers, and he feels like it's more private that way, and that's how he sees New York, is everyone has their own front door and doesn't have to deal with doormen or anyone else.
I just watched Cafe Society for the first time the other night, and it's kind of a beautiful movie. That again, he like struggles with the dialogue. That he's got 40 Woody Allens in the movie, but it is a beautiful movie to watch. You're getting sick, yeah.
I think I'm getting sick.
Oh no,
we're all dying.
It's happening.
This is like living through a plague. All brought on from John Anderson of Yes.
I felt bad for all the comedians last night that were using the same microphone. They all kept coming up and grabbing your microphone, and I was like, don't do that.
I know, but you know what I was thinking after a while? Fuck them. I couldn't have expressed it enough. But there was like a couple of times last night where my head just faded out and I was on stage. I was just thinking, you know what I mean? Because you get
like that
weird sickness
the wave of sound just kind of like, where am I?
And I won't use any kind of real medication. All my medication is just fake. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't make you drowsy, it's not going to make you better. Let's just face it. You've got to be drowsy to get better. So I'm going to suffer forever. But the doctor said to me, he goes, this is probably the one that's going to get you. He goes, I can't be 100% sure. He goes, I don't see you living through this one. He goes, if it's not this one, it's the next one you get.
Oh, God.
It's down to these last two?
Dad, I made it through a lot of cold seasons. I'm not going to lie to you about that. I
understand.
Cold season has been my place, It's been my home for many, many years.
I have said that about you.
Yeah. All right. Nice talking to you, darling.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Great stories. You're living a better life than me on purpose. Deb from the Interrobang said, no, this has got to me, too. I think I saw Robert De Niro in The Village last night, and I think he smiled at me. I can't let you go by on a thought. Mm-mm. You either did or you didn't.
You gotta know.
But I did hear that Scruffy was spotted in The Village last night.
He was walking down to the theater, to the IFC theater.
What was he saying?
I forgot what he told me. A movie I'd not heard of.
Hey, that's the one that you want to remember. Does Scruffy know something we don't? You know?
It was Certain Girls.
Certain Girls? What's the story behind this?
I just remember he's pointed at the marquee. Said,
well, let's find out. Certain Girls. Scruff would have been his forever if the timing would have worked out. You know how sometimes
No,
As
yeah.
interns, you're like, oh, he's perfect for us. It's certain women, not certain girls. You fucking misogynistic
Good.
motherfucker.
What a piece of shit.
And a pedo, I guess.
Yeah, he is.
He likes some young guys.
Young guys? That's even worse.
Yeah. That's what he prefers, he
So
told me.
give me the background on this movie. What's it about? Who's looked it up? Which one of you guys?
You can look it up.
Neither one of you, huh?
I looked up certain girls and find shit.
Well, it's certain women.
All right, it's written directed by Kelly Reichardt. And stars Laura Dern, Kristen Stewart, Michelle Williams, and Jared Harris.
Wait a minute.
I think I might have seen the trailer for that.
What's it all about?
Certain woman explores a handful of intersecting lives across Montana.
Oh, interesting. Montana, huh?
Yeah, it's a Montana movie.
Montana, the orange blossom state.
I don't think so.
That's it.
It is.
3 strong-willed women strive to forge their own paths amidst the wide open plains of the American Northwest.
I'm going to guess right now, Rotten Tomatoes, I'm going to give it a 90% without knowing anything about it. Just hearing the people in it. I'm going to say 9 out of 10.
91%.
Ah, shit, off by 1%.
But it's still really good.
So close.
So close, and yet, yeah, it is. It's really good. I'm not going to, this is the cold making me harder on myself.
Don't beat yourself up. It's cold season, Ron.
Cold and flu season. I got to go get my flu shot.
Now, if you got a flu shot like now while you had a cold, would that be bad?
I think it is, and I don't have any proof for that.
I would think it's
but
really bad.
I was going to say I should go get my flu shot as soon as I feel better.
Yeah, because you don't want mini flu symptoms on top of your cold, I would imagine.
No, I don't want to deal with that. I have a nephew who got a dirty needle from.
That's what I hear, but
that's what he made up.
It's a dirty needle.
What are you giving me the thumbs up for?
Mr. Open Mike Eagle is here.
Oh, nice.
That you call him Mr. Open Mike Eagle?
I was being
Is he riding solo or is he with someone?
He's riding solo.
Let's bring him in. Where is he? Where's our pal?
He's coming down the hall right now.
Okay, well, we don't like anybody. Now, the Ariel Winter is back up. She had taken down, is what happened there. But I get these things sent to me that aren't. But we'll go. She had taken it down her Instagrams.
Oh, wow.
But let's bring in. So Mike Eagle is not here.
He's walking down the hall is what I was
Well,
doing.
why do you give me the thumbs up before?
You got to play a little music for him.
Yeah, but this would have been 7 minutes worth of music by the time you got here.
True. I don't know what's going on. I guess I got bad information.
That's okay. You're not supposed to be getting the information. It's supposed to be that guy.
Yes.
You can't be doing 2 jobs. Or you guys switch out during these things, and then you're able to do this freely.
Here we go. Here's
Oh,
Mike.
God, you just drive me nuts. You just drive me nuts. Open Mike Eagles here.
But then, you see, you do the flip.
Open Mike Eagles in studio with us. You can see Mike at the Bell House in Brooklyn, New York tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Go to thebellhouseny.com for tickets and information. And Mike's album, Hella Personal Film Festival, is available for download and on iTunes. And follow him on Twitter at Mike_Eagle.
Hello.
Buddy.
Good afternoon.
You're doing so well in 2 different worlds.
Man,
it's comedy world, the music world.
It's all an accident. It's great.
You are, you're like a full tilt celebrity now.
I don't know. I just walked in after Tay Diggs. I feel like nothing.
I was just saying to you that you looked good,
and I should have said thank you, but instead I said I feel horrible.
Yeah,
I feel like a sweaty mess.
He look great.
Well, first of all, you can't compare yourself to him.
But I just stand there at the desk with him. I had no choice but to look at his entire outfit and compare each piece to mine,
right?
In terms of what I think his probably cost and its effect at the time, because he looked like a beautiful, brilliant unicorn.
But that's his business. You understand? He's in the business of looking good. Right. That's a 24-hour day job for him.
But he's a real celebrity, and that's what real celebrities are supposed to look like. Right?
I wonder.
I had this other thing happen with him. You should pull up his Twitter account, because this is funny to me. He's one of those weirdo celebrity peoples that like follows too many people.
Yeah.
He follows like 700,000.
633,000 people he follows.
Now, one of those people is me.
Oh, wow.
But I felt no jurisdiction to speak to that man right now, because I know full well he has no idea who I am.
But you're Twitter buddies.
But are we?
Yes, I think you are.
No, I don't think so.
I have the same thing with Nancy Sinatra. Like, I freaked out when I saw that she followed me back, and then I went to her page. I'm like, ooh, she kind of follows maybe 90% of the people who follow him.
Now, I don't follow Tay Diggs back because I didn't follow him in the first place. And when he followed me, I was like, oh, this is exciting. And then I looked at that number. I'm like, oh, okay. So he follows 1,000 people a day.
Everybody.
Right? Like,
but do you think he knows who you are?
I think he knew one day.
Yeah. Okay,
I don't think he still does.
Yeah. But you're, this show that you're involved in now.
The New Negroes.
It's getting real critical heat.
Yeah, we got wrote up in the New York Times yesterday.
Sweet.
Man. Yeah, it was real cool. Real cool.
So that's the thing. Like, first of all, I've known you for a while. Nobody works harder. Nobody's out there doing more stuff. And also, no one has a more talented kid, if I'm going to be totally honest.
It's mind-blowing. It's like living with a little tiny Tay Diggs. It's really, really difficult.
But I wonder if we could see if Tay Diggs knows Sue. Like, is there any possible way to... We know where he is. Vito, you got all the contacts,
I mean, I can
right?
send him a DM right now, but he wouldn't read it. You know what I mean? And he's two rooms down. He'd pick up he wouldn't even look at it.
Here's the thing, Gail, you would know. Like, we were just talking with Jill. She walked up to Woody Allen, started talking to him yesterday. Some people are comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Some people aren't.
Yeah.
I normally don't. I normally go on the side of I don't bug someone.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid, my parents said to me, and you can't even get out of that. They go, don't be a Mike Fenoya. And I go, I don't even know who that is. They go, you will. And he has a tendency to feel too comfortable. But some people do feel very comfortable just walking up. I've seen people in the halls that, you know what I mean? That I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then watch people I know dart at them and say, like, I do a show here too.
I had to help the security downstairs take pictures with Tay Diggs. Like, I had to take the pictures for them. He probably follows all of them on Twitter. You know? I saw Dimitri Martin on a plane about a month ago. Now, I love Dimitri Martin.
Yeah.
And so I'm walking past, and he was looking down. So I just tapped him on the shoulder, gave him a fist bump, and I kept moving him.
Smart.
I had to tell them, I had to let the man know that I think he's goddamn fantastic,
I will sometimes do that. You look like $1 million to people, and I did it to Mr. Richard Dreyfuss once. And I saw the look on his face like he thought, like, fuck, where do I know that dude from? But I never break a stride.
Yeah, I do something similar where, like, I will say hey in passing, but I'm not going to take any of your time.
Exactly.
But it's like, I acknowledge you, and by acknowledging you, that lets you know I think you're great.
Right.
Like, I remember years ago, I think I might have even been in high school, I saw Janine Garofalo on the street, and I've always loved her. And I just passed her and I was like, Janine, my girl, as I was like walking by. And she was kind of confused and she was like, hey. Like, it was maybe like more familiar than she was like, hey, okay. All right. I guess that was nice.
That's always, that's like the coolest that you could do. One time I saw Amy Irving and I'm walking the other way of her, and I did a line from a movie called Crossing Delancey. Probably nobody did, but I never broke stride, never turned around to say, I did the Pickle Man. I'm going, my job doesn't represent me. I just kept going.
Do you think that it like sunk in?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope she had a moment like, here's something weird that happened to me today.
Once I saw Casey Affleck on the street, and we were both crossing the street at the same time from opposite directions.
Was it just you and him?
Yeah, it was just me and him. So it's just like the two of us are crossing the street, and we meet in the middle. And as I pass him, I go, what up, Casey? And he goes, what up, girl? I've always really liked him for that.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a really solid response.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that was that.
Well, first of all, you gave a response of a guy who's comfortable with his own sexuality. You know what I mean?
What up, girl?
What up, girl? Maybe you like to take a roll. But say, Mike, you're at the point now that some people would worry whether they can approach you or not.
Oh, no, they don't worry. They approach away.
I guarantee you people say that they've seen you and they haven't approached.
Well, okay, I guess that's possible mathematically, but what I feel like happens is if somebody knows me, they definitely let me know. They do not let it go unsaid.
Now, explain to everybody what the New Negroes show is all about.
It's the title is a reference from a book from the Harlem Renaissance, or Alan Locke, I think. He was being given some prize by some institution, but he said instead of a monetary prize, how about we put all of my super talented artist friends on display? And it was kind of like a collection of essays kind of meant to just show that black life at that point was way more varied than people understood. And that's kind of the same thing that Barron started doing when he started the comedy show, The New Negroes, about 2 years ago. And for a year now, I've been co-hosting it with him, kind of adding a musical element and doing some banter and stuff with him.
Man, the Harlem Renaissance, by the way, is one of the most fascinating things in American history. Still the most fascinating architecture that we have in this town is in Harlem.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I had a history teacher like in high school just like obsess over, like we did a really like long extended section on it because he's like, it's so ignored for history, teachers to like really teach it to young people. And it was great. It was like one of my...
You know who's all over it is Kareem. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar studies it all the time, and he's always he's like a historian now. Like people just see him as the 7-foot guy, but I've had him on a couple times, and he's fascinating for how much he'll study a subject. But what's funny is he'll go out and he'll come into the show, and I'm just like, wow, that was amazing. And then I'll see him on a 4:00 TV show, and they're like, how tall are you? He's made this documentary that you won't believe. And people are like, you can sit in the chair and touch the ceiling. Like, it's gotta be the most outrageous thing in the world, to be able to live.
Oh, people are so comfortable to comment on height. For some reason, height is one of those things where it's like whether you are very, very tall or very short.
People are very short. Do people say?
Well, maybe to women.
I would be less likely to say.
To women, they do. To women, they feel very comfortable.
Oh, you're so tiny.
Oh my God. I didn't think that you were going to look like this weird little midget person.
You're a spinner.
And you're like, excuse me?
Like I could put you on my
No!
Spin and spin.
This is insulting.
Don't be a tall guy who's not good at basketball, though.
Horrifying.
Everyone will ask you that question.
I have a friend who's ridiculously tall, and that's like the first thing that people ask. Do you play basketball? And then he says no. And then he has to deal with, what?
Well, you should.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Like, people get furious with it. I mean, maybe now that, he's older, it's not as much, or at least maybe they ask him if he used to. But when he was young, they were just pissed.
It's like
they were just furious.
People want to be his agent and sign him right then.
Well, everyone thinks, hey, if I was 6'8", I'd be really good. And they're like, I'm this good at 5'5". Can you imagine? If I was 6'8".
I'd be unstoppable.
Yeah. I mean, I would keep the same dexterity I have in my tiny little body.
I wouldn't be awkward or uncoordinated at all.
Yeah. Well, when you're like 8, 9 years old and you're starting to play any kind of organized sports, the guys that are the best are the ones who are going to be tiny because they already have control of their body. And those guys are very rarely stars later in life. If you look at a J.J. Watts, I'm sure he was like a fucking joke. College, I'm sure he's like, just had no control whatsoever. Chris, plug ski.
Open Mike Eagles in studio. The show The New Negroes is happening at the Bell House in Brooklyn, New York tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Go to thebellhouseny.com for tickets. And Mike's album, Hella Personal Film Festival, that's available on iTunes and on Twitter. It's at Mike_Eagle.
Now, when you do this show at the Bell House, is it different than other shows you do?
The New Negroes, we've done this in LA and Portland. It's the format is kind of me and Barron co-host. We have 5 or 6 comics do about 10 minutes apiece, and I perform once or twice.
Inside
of that, yeah.
And what kind of comics are you looking for?
Really every kind that fall under the black experience, even if they're African, even, just as long as they self-identify as being black in America, we want their voice to be part of our show. And that's the whole thing of it, is to show that, our experiences are not monolithic. You know what I mean? We feel like that's part of what's going on in the world today, and how even how the police treat us sometimes. It's like if you look at us and you think we're all one thing, and if that one thing is some menacing nightmare thing, then you feel you're in danger and you're going to shoot us. So we'd like to be able to have a platform to show people that our experience is a lot more varied than whatever part of culture they might have been paying attention to.
Have you ever been treated because the police assume you're a thug? Has that happened?
Not police, because I don't do anything illegal ever.
Yeah.
I'm very afraid of jail. So.
Except for that marijuana.
Well, the laws are lax now,
Yeah,
so I
they
feel
go back and forth.
I feel a little better.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, my treatment where I feel like is monolithic is it comes a lot of times from people in the street more than it does police. You know, like the lady clutching a handbag or somebody moving to the other side of the elevator type situation is kind of the more it's the experience that I have more often than the police one.
The song "Smiling" on your record, it was like one of my I think I had a time for each one of those tracks where I was like, okay, this is now my favorite track, but that was the first one where I was like, this song is so fantastic, and it's about that very thing.
Well, thanks for listening too. But yeah, it's like that song was written from this time when I was in London, and I saw a lady walking opposite me on the street, and there was a guy in front of us who was white, and they didn't look like they knew each other. They could have been best friends for all I knew, but there would seem to be some sort of smile acknowledgement and in passing of just kind of two human beings acknowledging each other. But when it got to me, like, she just kept her eyes down. I was like, oh yeah, that's that thing, you know? And I was just writing songs at the time, so I kind of extrapolated that into that song, Smiling.
Well, see, for me, I have outgrown anything where anyone would assume that I was trouble, but I know what it's like to be younger, back when being a long hair was a thing. And hey, what are you guys doing? You know what I mean? But it's like, so I have this perception of the police from when I was a little kid, but it's amazingly funny to me how quickly people be like, yeah, get on the plane. Go ahead, you're fine. Yeah, nice to see you, sir. You know, I could just wave through everything.
I think that a lot with checking my purse sometimes too. Like if you go into like have someone check your bag and like they just do like that bullshit thing where they just like pretend to look. And I was like, I wonder if everyone gets the pretend to look,
right?
Or if I'm just getting the pretend.
I
to
flew
look.
here yesterday, and there was a lady in front of me in security, an older white woman, who she had printed her boarding pass out wrong so that the barcode wasn't able to scan, and the TSA lady was trying to explain to her, you're going to have to reprint this. And she just started telling the story about how she drove 3 hours from a suburb 3 hours away, and she had to get on this plane, and they just let her through. And I was like, wow, if the terrorists ever get a hold of white privilege, we will be in trouble.
That'll be that's who they should be recruiting.
Honestly, older white women, because no one will tell them no.
Yeah. But I know what it's like to say to people, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You're not young and black. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. I get it. Life is hard. Go ahead over there. You guys, move over here. I'll fucking pat you down and search your assholes. Chrissy, plug away.
Open Mike Eagles in studio. The show, The New Negroes, is happening tomorrow night at the Bell House in Brooklyn at 7:30 p.m. You go to bellhouseny.com for tickets. And Mike's album, Hella Personal Film Festival, that's available on iTunes and on Twitter. It's at Mike_Eagle.
I got the perfect guy for your show.
Who's that?
And because he did my show that Gail and I did last night, Comedy 101.
I did a show
Surprise.
last night?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so dumb.
And it killed.
Of course.
And stepping out as our surprise stand-up comic, Black Earl Douglas.
Get out of here. I would love Black Earl to come to our show.
Place went crazy.
I would go crazy if he walked in here right now.
Yeah. I guarantee you, I'm going to let Earl know when your show is and see if he can come, because, you know, he's the Black Rock guy.
If he shows up, I'm going to have his song preloaded. And I'm going to play it.
Dude.
You're genuine lazy bum. That's my joint, man.
I know, that is the best fucking parody song I've ever heard. But he was so comfortable on stage, wasn't he?
He had no
and he's
problem
done no
That's
stand-up.
what I said to him right away. I was like, dude, you were very comfortable up there.
Yeah.
I mean, he really did material.
Yeah, like, I mean, he had stuff that he had just written. But the thing about Earl that is funny is he fucking wears his hat and he stands like an old black dude. Like, he looks exactly the same as the day I met him. But I know that he's doing his version of what a black dude looked like when he was a little kid.
Wow.
You know, because he's standing in a way that you don't see guys today.
And that
standing.
If he's standing anyway like you're standing right now, that's automatically funny. Like, you didn't have to say anything.
Great.
Like, that
it
looks
was
great.
Fucking hilarious. But one time I got Earl to do a shot, and he did a shot like a black guy from the 1940s. He just had it up, and it was sitting on his lip. And I'm like, people like that aren't even alive now. So I knew it was something that he saw when he was a little kid. But that room went crazy for him.
They really
Down
did.
to the point where I think he intimidated the judges, they took a little too long to jump into it.
They're like, this is a crowd favorite.
Who are the judges?
Robert Kelly.
Nice.
Voss and Bonnie, and then from the Howard Stern show, Shuley, who was just a funny, like a naturally funny guy.
Nice.
And also, he's, he's a veteran of the Dice Clay tours, which I think there should be a Purple Heart for that. Because all those guys got that stories where Dice would go like, for the next 10 minutes, only talk about puppies. Huh? And he makes his guys go out and die in front of his audience. And then Dice just cries laughing.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and Dice is like, that was beautiful. And they got the gig. But they have to admit that they'll just go up and tank every once in a while. And Dice finds it the funniest thing in the world. He's so uniquely funny. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he really does, like, I don't know, like, all of his stories, like, when you did the Unmasked with him, all of his stories seem to just be, like, the world is, like, his oyster. Like, everyone's a puppet to him. He's just, like, kind of playing the room. It's a very funny thing.
I think that it's something that happens that when you're on the road and you don't drink, you end up doing a lot of nutty things. One of the things that Dice will do, and I've heard this from a couple people, is that he'll go to these open houses for homes, and he just fucking runs up and down the steps. And he's like, I like to run. I got to make sure these steps. It's a fucking prank show, but it's not. It's just him.
Camera. This is him entertaining himself.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was telling me once how he was like just trying to make Marty Scorsese feel uncomfortable. And when Marty wanted to do something, he's like, Marty, you're not right. You do more of that, stupid Italian thing. That's you. This is different. And I'm just like, why would you do it like this? Why not just work with Marty rather than have a funny story about how you made him feel uncomfortable?
Does he go to stores and just try to get free shit?
He tries to get, I forget what he has, but it's something that kind of means the Dice price.
The discount.
The Dice. Oh my God.
Hey, Kevin in Atlanta.
Hey, what's going on, Bennington? How you doing?
Hey, man.
Gail, big fan. I just wanted to ask, Mike, with this show that you're doing, what kind of audiences are you getting, and how are you being perceived by the audience?
First of all, I love that you won't say the name of it. I think that is the cutest thing ever.
Yeah, this show.
The show that you're doing, what's named, but I don't know if I can say or not. But we get a lot of we get mostly white people to come see the show. Amazingly. I think mostly that's because of where we're doing it. We've been doing it at comedy festivals that tend to be lend themselves to a more mainstream audience, and that's kind of who shows up. And everybody's really interesting and excited. And I think it's a real interesting energy that happens there. People are just kind of taking it all in.
Yeah.
Right on. No, that's the only question that I had. I wish that I was a lot closer to New York. I'd love to see that show. Are you going around the country with it, or eventually, or is it just a New York thing?
Yeah, we do it monthly in LA. We've done it in Portland. We're doing it in San Francisco soon. I think, and tomorrow in New York. We're taking offers to do it anywhere.
Yeah.
We're really excited to take it around the country.
Okay, cool, man. Well, I hope to see you in the future, man. Good luck with your project.
Thanks a lot.
Right there, you got at least one person in Atlanta ready to show up.
You guys seen Atlanta? You guys seen the show yet?
Yeah.
You guys seen it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Gotta watch the show. It's the best show.
I'm just going crazy because I have so many shows that I'm watching, but I know that everyone who has good taste tells me it's excellent. So
it's so good, and I was afraid of it because I got a couple TV things in the works, and like one of them's kind of hip hop, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be better than mine, and it is, but it's the best thing. It's just the best. Like the level of creativity is just unheard of.
You know what? It is hard to keep up. And I was just watching, and it just started. This is when people did the Netflix 1977 hip hop show that's out.
The Get Down?
Yeah, the Get Down.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's very difficult to keep up with everything that is out there. It's too much.
Yeah, I can't watch Insecure right now because I'm watching Atlanta. Like, I gotta do one at a time.
I get too many shows, and then people, the thing is, they're so disappointed in you when you're not watching their show.
Still a person.
What are you watching, Ron? What are you watching?
Right now, my favorite show is Better Things, which is Pablo Anlon and
Oh, that's the FX show.
Yeah, the FX stuff that she did with Louis C.K. I really like. I haven't even. I've kept them all on my TV because I kind of have a feeling it's better in layers than I even think that it is. Obviously, tonight I'm 100% involved with the World Series.
Of course. Who are you pulling for? You got a dog in the fight?
No, I really don't.
Looking for good games?
Yeah, I'm just enjoying the game, and I'm enjoying those players feeling excited and those towns feeling excited.
Now, I'm a Chicagoan through and through.
Yeah.
But I grew up blocks away from Comiskey Park. The only baseball game I'd ever been to in my life was a White Sox game. And I'm a Southsider through and through. But I'm so on this bandwagon. I am living and dying with every one of these pitches in this game.
It is what happens, though. It's so stressful. Yeah. What was it, game 2 that was... We were all texting back and forth, me, you, and Johnny.
Yeah, it was game 2.
Just a real pitching duel. And you're just going, man, what a great defensive play. What a great pitch. Like, I don't really feel the need to pretend I'm a fan of one of the things to not enjoy this. But also, I am enjoying that both these cities want it so bad. Mm-hmm. This isn't a case of New York expecting. I remember when I first came to New York, there was the parade downtown. And I said to the head sales guy, I go, you're a Yankees fan, you going to that parade tomorrow? And he goes, no, I'll probably just catch the one next year.
Oh.
And he fucking meant it. Wow. That is a New York fan to me. They assume.
Chicago almost wants it a little too much. Like,
it's sad.
Like they couldn't really win or do well in that ballpark because everybody's like,
it literally got brought up last night on ESPN.
Crazy.
They're saying, is it easier for you not to play in front of the struts of the home team fans?
Those people are insane when the Cubs are losing. They're maniacs. I could only imagine how they are right now. Like somebody sent me a picture of like 7 a.m. on the last game. People were completely packed into a bar drinking, like getting ready because it was going down.
Well, then a lot of the Cubs fans are saying, will we still be special once we win? And you're just at that point, fuck you.
Yeah, shut up, man.
You're never special.
It's a good question.
For being a loser. It's just a game and you're not playing it. It's just something that you root for. That's like me sitting there going, if I rooted for a fucking earthquake and then I finally got one, would that ruin my life? Stupid. That's just dumb. No one tells you have to root for anything. It's a pastime. Enjoy. But this is my favorite thing, and you know this from Chicago, is that you could think in your mind, everyone that you ever grew up with is watching these games. Mm-hmm. Everybody that you have ever seen is fucking living and dying with those pitches, and it does keep us connected in a weird way that nothing else does. I think we'd probably have to go back to Jurassic Park, where we all at the same time. There are dinosaurs.
What a great film.
You guys ever seen the What Are Those joke? You ever seen the What Are Those? This is great. R.I.P. Vine. It was a great Vine phenomenon where a bunch of rude black kids would get around like a security guard or like a policeman or somebody with weird shoes, and they'd be like, Mr. Officer, I just have one question for you, and they're filming it, and they're like, what are those? And they point at the shoes, and the cop just gets all fucking embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's great. But the reason I just thought of it right now, though, because there was this Vine that somebody made called Jurassic Park, What Are Those? And they put somehow in a Vine, they put these weird shoes on a dinosaur. And they just had this, you can play it, your audio is great. Play that at my funeral on repeat. Play that.
What are those? What are those?
R.I.P. Vine, man.
Why do black kids like shoes so much? What the fuck
God, we like
there?
status symbols, man. Anything that you can buy that makes it look like your life is better than it is. Yeah. We want every symbol. I was just part of this Vox video talking about Grey Poupon, right? Mm-hmm. Because this one lady decided to do the research, and there are hundreds of rap songs that reference Grey Poupon. Hundreds. I'm not even joking. Hundreds of rap songs. And it all goes back to that commercial when she did the chart where it spikes, and then Kanye said it again like in 2006 and it spiked again. But literally in the hood, anything that you tell us is a status symbol, we want it. We want to say that we have it even if we don't.
That is so funny. Here's what's funny is like, You never see that the Trump kids made a big deal about shoes. The people who actually have money don't think, now I can get the shoes that I have always wanted.
Because those are just shoes to them.
Yes, those are shoes. That doesn't mean
shoes
shit.
are shoes.
Yeah.
It just means nothing to them.
Tay Diggs shoes, by the way,
I'm
were
sure.
fucking incredible. They were like these big. They had a big pilgrim buckle on them, and they were hard
What the
shoes. It was
fuck?
fantastic.
It was like a fancy, it was like a dress shoe, like a fancy
It was
dress
a
shoe.
fancy dress shoe with
Well,
a
Thanksgiving
buckle.
is coming.
That's festive.
Will you give me the wrap up on the show, Chris?
Yeah, we got 2 minutes.
All right, because I know Ope is here today, right? This is the
Yes.
first time we've been here the same time as him
Yes.
this week, probably. Always good to see you, and
Yeah,
I'm very,
always
very
good to be
happy
here, man. Yeah.
to hear that this show is popping. You always got so many different projects going on.
Gotta keep the plate spinning, man. Keep the tiny person spinning on my finger.
That's
what
good,
I'm trying to
man.
do.
That's good. Did you find out where Tay Diggs was all day?
He was just being interviewed by Heather B.
Could you? There was no way to introduce him to Mike, or are they still together?
I could find out.
No, that's what you were supposed to do an hour ago.
He was in the little tiny studio where you
Yeah,
can't.
I understand. That's what you were supposed to do an hour ago. Because I love to hook the two of them. They're Twitter fucking friends.
They DM each other all the time.
Actually, I don't follow him, so let's not do that.
But let him follow us.
Follow him now.
He's not going to go right.
Do it quick.
But I'm sure he doesn't even do his Twitter.
Yeah, you're right.
Hello, we're Twitter friends.
What are those? What are those? By the way, I'm going to go home tonight, watch every one of those. What are
They are
those?
so good every time, and nobody ever they never show the fight that happens after they do.
No.
You know what I mean?
Open Mike Eagles been in studio. The new Negro Show. That's happening at the Bell House in Brooklyn, New York. Tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Go to thebellhouseny.com for tickets. Mike's album, Hella Personal Film Festival, is available for download on iTunes. And on Twitter, it's at Mike_Eagle.
And watch the Tonight Show tonight. That should be fun.
Nate Bargatze will be performing on the Tonight
He's
Show
so
tonight.
fucking funny.
Nate came and did that set for us before we started our show last night, and he's got it together. It's gonna be really cool. I think Patton is on that same show.
Yes, he is.
So that's a good one tonight.
Jam-packed.
And I'll be watching every pitch. Chris, good luck to you and your Cubs.
Thank you.
Good luck.
North Side forever.
What's that?
North Side forever.
Well, you grew up there, so that's a big deal for you.
I'm the Chicago guy in here.
Let's do it.
I know you guys have to put up with a lot of bandwagon jumpers, but
We do.
A couple of local Chi-Town guys like yourself, the Windy City boys.
It's disgusting, really, Ron.
All right. That's it for us. Love you, Mike.